to do tonight against a very talented Oilmen lineup.
As an Oilmen team that was struggling a little bit offensively, but the last 3 games they've really turned it around. They've been putting up bigger numbers, and a lot of times, Kevin, it's the adjustment to the wood bats that takes some time early in the season.
For sure. You come for your entire high school and college careers with BB core or aluminum bats, and now all of a sudden you have to play with wooden bats every single day. The bat's a lot heavier, your swing's a lot more delayed, and we have guys throwing the upper 80s. Some guys have even touched 90 this year across the league. It's a lot tougher to hit these fastballs and hit different types of pitches, so there's no difference as to why they're struggling to get going. But now they're back. They finally have the bats going, and we'll see here.
It's the Vikings team that was red hot when the Oilmen saw them on Monday, but they've cooled off a bit since then. How do they get going again tonight?
It just comes down to throwing strikes. As simple as that sounds, they've struggled to do that. They've walked a lot of guys yesterday. They had a 5th inning against the Joliet Generals where they allowed 11 guys touch to the plate, 6 free passes, including 5 base on balls. It's been a struggle to throw strikes the past couple of days. Granted, they faced a really hot Lake County team a couple of nights ago and a Joliet team that's been inconsistent on offense, but they found their game yesterday as well. So if this Vikings team is able to throw strikes, I can see them easily being in this ballgame tonight.
It's the Oilmen and the Vikings in just a little while. Our pregame show continues next. I'll have the lineups for you, and we'll get you set for first pitch when we come back on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Well, the ground rules have been discussed. The lineup cards have been exchanged. Those lineups are being introduced over the PA system. That's my cue to give you the starting lineups for today's game, starting with the visitors from Southland. Leading off and playing center field, Kyle Fenner. Batting second and playing in right, George Bilicki. Batting third is first baseman John Crowell. Crowell hitting third. Batting cleanup and starting behind the plate, Jason Kroll. Kroll hitting fourth. Batting fifth is designated hitter Logan Anderson. It's his season debut here in the Northern League, but longtime fans are familiar with him from years past. Batting sixth and playing shortstop A.J. Taylor. Batting seventh is second baseman Blaze Cano. Cano hitting seventh. Batting eighth and getting the start in left field, Zach McKenna. McKenna hitting eighth. And rounding out the 1 through 9 for the Vikings is third baseman Nick Knowles. And starting on the mound, all that in back of Southland starting pitcher, right-hander Josh Ladislas. And now here's the Oilmen starting lineup that the Southland righty will be opposing. Leading off and playing center field, Dom Curcio. Batting second is first baseman David Marshall. Marshall hitting second. Batting third is second baseman Kyle Tyler. Tyler hits third. The cleanup Oilman is shortstop Jack Zebig. Batting fifth in center field, Colin Horniman. Horniman will hit fifth and play left for the Oilmen. Left field for Horniman as he hits fifth. Batting sixth and starting at third base, Kyle Zarnecki. Zarnecki hitting sixth. Tyler Famakanen will bat seventh for the Oilmen. Today he plays right field, a bit of a unique defensive alignment for the Oilmen here today. Batting eighth and starting behind the plate, Sebastian Cabeza. Cabeza hitting eighth. And rounding out the 1 through 9 for the Oilmen is designated hitter Mike Freitas. All that in back of Northwest Indiana right-hander Frank Quinn. The umpires have arrived. It is going to be Mike Clay to call all the balls and strikes. And tonight, George Hillard will have the decisions on the base paths. The Oilmen are being introduced, and they're taking the field defensively. They're doing so wearing their black uniforms, gold numbers on their backs. They've got the gold Oilman lettering across the front of the chest, the white pants, the black cap, and the gold Oilman logo on the front of the cap. The Vikings are wearing black uniforms as well with white numbers on their backs, smaller white numbers on the front. They've got the red cap, or actually the blue cap with the red bill, and a mixture of colored caps, actually. They have some red caps as well, and the logo on the front of the cap. It's time for the anthem. Let's join the live play. There you have the playing of tonight's national anthem and the bellow of Let's Go Oilmen. Well, it's Quinn against Ladislas. It's the Oilmen against the Vikings. And it's next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
If you hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Final few warm-up tosses being completed. The Oilmen are on the field defensively here at Oil City Stadium as we get you set for baseball between the Oilmen and the Southland Vikings, just a minute or so away from first pitch here at beautiful Oil City Stadium. And it's a beautiful night at a beautiful ballpark. In fact, the game time temperature here this evening, 82 degrees. It has been such a pleasant summer for baseball. In the 11 years I've been doing games here, I cannot remember the weather cooperating more in the month of June than it has this year. So it's certainly been a lot of nice nights at the ballpark. And if you're in the area, come on down. It's a great night for a game. It is Hispanic Heritage Night here at Oil City Stadium. And again, if you're close to 119th Street in Whiting, you can make your way into the ballpark and join the atmosphere here tonight as we get set for the first Oil City Stadium matchup, Kevin, between the Oilmen and the Vikings.
And the Vikings are fired up for this game. Not only is it a rivalry game, but they get their first chance to play at Oil City Stadium after meeting at Dowling. They're all excited. Some of these guys, their first appearances ever in Oil City, so they like the sight lines here, and they like to see what they get from the Oilmen.
Kyle Fenner leads it off. The first pitch comes at 7:10. As we mentioned, the game time temperature is 82 degrees. The pitch is downstairs for ball one. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Coming back here is Frank Quinn. We'll run down his numbers in just a moment. His leg kick and his 1-0 pitch is low for a ball. It's 2-0. Quinn, his ERA a little beefy at 8.30. He has an 0-1 record, 8 2/3 innings of work. He has struck out 12 and walked 3. This is his 4th game and his 2nd start. But all of his work has come against the first-place Lake County Corn Dogs. Here comes the 2-0. taken for a strike, and it's 2-1. So you figure all of his outings coming against the best team in the league, and that might be part of the reason why he is statistically has struggled a little bit so far this year.
Exactly. This Lake County team, they can hit the ball, and they can hit the ball to all parts of the ballpark. And the other thing that stuck out to me, his walk numbers are very low.
There's a fly ball to right. Right there is Fama Cannon. He gloves it. Normally playing infield for the Oilmen, but he's in right today, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning, one away. And that'll bring up Bilicki with one out and the bases clear. But you were saying low walk numbers for Quinn.
Low walk numbers, which is always a good sign. What you want to see, not only just as a pitching coach, but just in summer ball as well. You're just trying to work on getting better, just work on trying to consistently throw strikes. And when you're able to do that, sure, you're going to get hit a lot more. And this Lake County team, they consistently put the ball in play. But I think right now, if you're Adam Enright, you won't complain about that, considering the fact that he's throwing a lot of strikes and isn't walking a whole lot of opposing hitters.
First pitch low here to Bilicki in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. It's so big to get ahead in counts and to throw strikes in the summer. You're, again, facing players with wood bats. You want to make them do damage against you and not give them those free bases. Here comes the 1-0. Swing and a miss. He was fooled there, and the count evens out at 1 ball and 1 strike. The repertoire for Quinn, fastball, changeup, and a curve. The curve, as I've talked about this summer, a bit of a work in progress for him. His best pitch is the changeup. It's 10 or 12 miles an hour slower than his fastball. Here comes the 1-1. It's taken outside for a ball, 2-1, and that can be difficult for a hitter.
Yeah, it's when you're sitting fastball the entire time, like a lot of hitters typically do with summer ball and the wood bats. You're expecting fastball the entire way. He comes down with a changeup that's 10 to 12 miles per hour slower. You're going to get food naturally, and then when he comes back with that fastball, it just looks that much faster, and it's almost that much harder to hit.
2-1 is sent to left. It's caught on a line in left by Horniman. A routine play for the Oilman left fielder, and quickly there's 2 down here in the first.
And there's that fastball. Bilicki late to it, that pitch on the outside corner. He was able to drive it to the other way, and no problem there for Horniman in left field. Fighting that sun out there, which is going to be very difficult. Logan Anderson, a Viking veteran, he was warning the guys who are playing the left side of the infield today, hey, make sure you have sunglasses on. Make sure you get your gloves ready to protect the sun. It is really tough to see when the sun starts to set if you're on the left side of the field here at Oil City.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the last few days that these are the longest days of the year right here this week. Here comes the pitch low for a ball in terms of sunlight, and that means that it's even more treacherous for longer out in left field to begin these ball games.
Especially when the balls are flying at you in such a short porch, to just 300 down the line, 320 to left center. It's really difficult as a left fielder because now you find the sun, you have to fight a wall that's probably about 10, 15 feet behind you, which normally you're used to playing with 30 or 40 feet of clearance behind you.
Here's a slow tap to short. This is fielded by Z-Big. The throw to first is in time, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. A nice job by Quinn in the opening frame. The Vikings do nothing. We've played a half. It's Southland nothing, and the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is
on the 12th of July. It's the 2022 Northern League All-Star Game right here at Oil City Stadium in Whiting, Indiana. You don't want to miss the league's brightest stars on display in the annual showcase, the top talent in the Northern League. It's been an annual staple here in the league, and every summer it attracts a great crowd and scouts from across the Midwest as the top talent in this league is on display. It's the Northern League East All-Stars up against the Northern League West All-Stars. It'll be the Vikings, the Corn Dogs, and the Oilmen comprising the East, and then the West will be comprised of the other 3 teams, the Generals, the Panthers, and the Chicago American Giants. So that's coming up on July the 12th right here at beautiful Oil City Stadium. You can get your tickets now on NWIOilmen.com. We take it to the last of the first inning. A quick 1-2-3 for Quinn in the opening inning, and now Josh Ladislas will try to match that. What can you tell us about tonight's Vikings starting pitcher?
Yeah, solid fastball pitcher. He's able to find the zone, works in and out of it. He's mainly come out of the bullpen thus far coming into this first start of the season. He's been effective out of the pen, but coming in and starting a game is a completely different animal. We'll see how he is on the mental side because he's strong when he comes into big jams in relief appearances, but starting a ball game, like I said, is a completely different animal. You don't know. It's a lot more mental. You have to be mentally tough going out with a scoreless frame every single time.
Yeah, first two pitches miss outside the count, 2 balls and no strikes on Dom Curcio. You mentioned it. He's 1-0 with a 4.69 ERA in 3 games, all out of the Viking bullpen. He does have a save, and he's worked a total of 7 2/3 innings, striking out 10 and walking 5. His most recent outing came on June the 15th against the Joliet Generals. Here comes the 3-0 pitch, and it's a 4-pitch walk. That's a way to start a day for the Oilmen offense as Curcio works the leadoff walk, and on just 4 pitches, Curcio is on to begin the bottom of the first.
And that entire at-bat was simply Curcio going, I'm just going to wait until I get a strike here. That's typically what a lot of leadoff guys like to do, and it's normally pretty effective, especially when you have guys who are making a spot start like Ladislas is tonight. Make him work for every single pitch. You know he's going to be taxed pretty quickly since he's used to being a reliever.
Ladislas ready to face Marshall here, who's hitting .294. He shows bunt, pulls back, and takes ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Mentioned his last outing was against the Generals on the 15th. 3 shutout innings. He allowed just 1 hit, walked 1, and struck out 3. Stands at 6'5", 180, attending Lakeland, and a St. Rita High School alum. Here's the 1-0, taken high for ball 2, and he's missed the zone with 6 straight.
Yeah, and he's late on all that release point. Essentially, when you have a late release, that means you're essentially late on getting the ball out of the hand. That's why every pitch is going high right now. He needs to work on timing up his release, breaking even with his body.
The 2-0 low for a ball wild pitch, advancing to second safely is Curcio. 7 straight have missed the zone. This one gets by the catcher Kroll and goes as a wild pitch, and now it's 3 balls and no strikes, and the Oilmen already a man in scoring position.
And this is a scenario here where maybe if you get another ball, if you're Jason Kroll, you might want to go out and spend the first mound meeting there. Just try to settle him down and reset the entire scenario right now. 3 balls, no strikes. That last pitch, very wild, and another 4-pitch walk. If I'm Kroll, I'm going to talk to him right now, simply just trying to calm him down because you can tell maybe the nerves are getting the best of him right now.
Yeah, back-to-back 4-pitch walks. 8 straight have missed the zone. Kyle Tyler is next. What do you do as a pitcher when you are in a spot like that where you just can't seemingly find the zone? Is it more physical or mental, and how do you get that corrected?
It becomes more of a mental battle, and what you try to do is you try to overthink every possible scenario, and so essentially it's a mental battle of, well, if my fastball isn't working, what about my changeup or my curveball or my slider, depending on what pitches you have. There you come back with the curveball right there. Beautiful pitch there over the inside corner, and you just say, this pitch isn't working, I have to go and rely on these pitches and just try to mentally reset. If those pitches get in for strikes, you can kind of then ease your way back into that first pitch that you were struggling with.
A 1 swing and a miss. A foul at the plate, actually, on the count, no balls and 2 strikes on Kyle Tyler, who really struggled in his Oilman debut against these Vikings on Monday, but has performed much better offensively since then, including last night where he reached base 5 times with 3 hits and 2 walks. 2 on, 2 strikes. There's a breaking ball taken for strike 3 call. Tyler frozen, and he's down on strikes for the first out in the opening inning.
He had 2 strikeouts in that game on Monday, if I recall, and both of them were just both Vikings pitchers getting the best of him in that contest. They were really working on the inside corner to Tyler in all of those at-bats, and he was taking a lot of those pitches, and a lot of those were getting called for strikes. And Ladislas right there pounding that inside corner once again to Tyler.
First pitch to Tyler, or to Zebig, I should say, high and outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. So nobody has put the ball in play through the first 3 batters, 2 walks and a strikeout. Now 1 out, 2 on. Zebig, the cleanup hitter, batting .339. He bats in a big spot. 1-0, taken outside for a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. So after bouncing back with the strikeout, now he falls behind 2-0.
And now your Ladislas, he's mentally thinking, all right, let's go back to the breaking stuff once again. That seems to be working right now. And he's just trying to get back in that dugout where he can just take a moment and just kind of reset and gather his thoughts.
This is off the outer edge, and we go to 3 balls and no strikes. A few birds have made their way onto the playing field. 3-0, 1 out, 2 on here in the first inning.
Feels like we're at Wrigley right now.
Yeah, you don't see that too often at Oil City. The Seagulls. Here comes the 3-0. Taken for a strike call, and it's 3-1.
Good bounce back there with that changeup. Hitters thinking it's a fastball all the way, and they're going to give up the strike no matter what because the 3-0 count. He's struggling to find the zone, but there's a good bounce back there from Ladislas. Let's see if he's able to do it again.
And the 3-1. This is off the outside edge for ball 4. He has walked the bases loaded here in the opening inning, and Colin Horniman will stand in. There's nowhere to put him as the Oilmen have a big-time scoring chance in the opening frame.
And this is now you have to go and rely on your defense as a pitcher. Try to get a ground ball. Try to get a double play. This Vikings team, very good up the middle, and Taylor and Cano, both of them have been able to turn many double plays, 4 double plays in one game a week ago. So they know he can trust his defense.
Look out. Horniman gets hit in the back with a bender, and that's going to force in a run. The Oilmen are on the board. Horniman gets hit by a pitch to earn his 4th run batted into the season. Forced across the plate is Curcio, and without the benefit of a hit in this inning, the Oilmen have a 1-0 lead.
You don't see that too often, do you, where four batters have all reached via walk or a hit by pitch. And that's just unfortunate there for Josh Ladislas. That curveball working just kind of backed up in on him. Not finishing on your follow-through is really the reason as to why that curveball doesn't work a lot of the time.
This is high and in for a ball. The count, 1 ball and no strikes. Bases full of Oilmen, 1 run in the bank. A hit batter a moment ago forcing in the run and give Horniman the run batted in. This is low and outside, thinking about it, but holding up is Zarnacki. Now he's behind 2-0. He's been behind to now 5 of the 6 hitters. All of them getting to either 2 ball, no strike counts or being hit with the first pitch. Here's the 2-0, high for a ball, and it's 3-0.
And Zarnacki here is just thinking, all right, let's just take this one. I know he's struggling to find the zone with anything. Even that breaking ball is now starting not to be as effective as it was for the first couple of batters he faced.
3-0 taken for a strike. It just did catch the outside corner. 3 balls and 1 strike. And how much longer before the Viking bullpen gets ready if the struggles continue? The 3-1 high and outside for ball 4. It forces in a run. The Oilmen, the beneficiary of the wildness of Ladislas in this opening inning, as his first start of the summer has been wobbly here from the outset. A run batted in for Zarnacki. It's his 12th of the year, and the lead is 2-0. And here we're going to see a mound visit before Famakanen steps in.
Yeah, this is Brian Nowakowski, the team manager, going to the mound right now, and that conversation is telling his defense, saying, hey, let's be aware here. 1 out. The double play is in effect in multiple spots here. Let's go back up our pitcher. And for Josh, it's just, hey, relax. You know you've been making mistakes out there. Let's reset. Take this moment, reset. Trust yourself and trust this team behind you. This Vikings team has been very solid defensively. Even when they've had games where they've struggled to hit, their defense has kept them in the ball games, which is what they're going to need to do right now with Ladislas struggling on the mound.
Mike Clay out to move things along, and he signals up to us that the Vikings have used a mound visit here. But the bigger concern for Southland is trying to find a way to throw strikes, as free passes to 5 of the first 6 batters of the ball game have gifted the Oilmen 2 runs in this opening inning. Famakanen stands in. First pitch low for a ball, 1-0. Oilmen coming off a 10-run blowout victory over the Giants yesterday. They broke that open with 7 in the 7th. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a tap foul, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. They're thinking big inning here.
And you might as well think big inning here. Just try to put this ball game away right now, or try to put it as far as reach as possible and make the deficit almost insurmountable for the Southland team.
1-1 is a strike in the upper portion of the zone. Taking it was Famakanen. Now the count tilts in favor of Ladislas. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The mound visit so far appears to have been effective. Here comes the 1-2. Taken high and away for ball 2.
That was a interesting breaking ball, almost kind of like a slurve. It had the downward break of a curveball, but the east-west motion of that slider. You don't see a lot of guys in this league throw that pitch.
2-2. Taken for strike 3 called. Caught looking is Famakanen, and that is the second out of the inning. Both Oilmen batters who have been retired in this inning have struck out looking, and it's been nobody has put the ball in play through 7 batters.
I want to know what the record is for in this league's history about what's the longest inning that didn't have a ball put in play. The Vikings the other day had a game where they scored 4 runs and didn't hit the ball at the infield, multiple infield singles and a couple of errors by the Crestwood Panthers. I don't think I've ever seen this before, either as a player or as a broadcaster, Brandon.
Ball 1 to Cabeza. We've had some innings even this season. The Corn Dogs had an inning where their starter went 2/3 of an inning, walked 6, and the Oilmen scored 6 on 1 hit, I believe, earlier this season. This is low and outside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. So we've had some unusual innings that have featured a lot of walks. But yeah, it would be even more unusual, I think, if he strikes out if you want to call it striking out the side around all the walks and hit batter. 2 balls and no strikes. This is outside for a ball, and it's 3-0. And there's, again, nowhere to put Cabeza. The bases are full of Oilmen.
And it seems like Ladislas is falling into a pattern of gets the strikeout and then struggles, finds a way to get another strikeout, and then goes back into the same patterns of just being late on all of his release points.
Here's a ground ball towards second. Cano fields it. He juggles it slightly, and the throw to second is just in time. 4-6 on the fielder's choice, and the inning ends. The Oilmen settle for the 2 runs. They do it on no hits and leave the maximum. After 1, Oilmen 2, Southland nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
It's just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Tomorrow night at Oil City Stadium, Saturday, June the 25th, the Joliet Generals will be here for a 6:10 first pitch. And not only that, but it'll be a howling good time as it is Bark in the Park night at Oil City Stadium. And there's more. There is a free doggy bandana giveaway for the first 200 fans through the turnstiles tomorrow night. You do not want to miss Bark in the Park, an annual staple here at Oil City Stadium. You can bring your furry friend. Your dog will be permitted to attend the game. You don't even have to purchase a ticket for them. No additional charge. You can bring your pup or your dog into the ball game tomorrow night as the Oilmen take on the Joliet Generals for Bark in the Park at Oil City Stadium. Free doggy bandanas for the first 200 fans tomorrow, Kevin, as we get set for the second inning, 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Do you have a dog?
Yes, I do, and she's going through a pattern where on days she loves bandanas and other days she hates them, and I'm disappointed that the Vikings are in Crown Point tomorrow, so I can't come and get one of those doggy bandanas because that would be a very cool and fun giveaway to have if you're a dog or for your pet out there.
For a small fee, I will maybe hold on to one for you.
Oh, great.
As Kroll stands in. I mean, I'm reasonable. $20.
Aren't they free at the gate?
Well, yeah, but I have to go to the work to, here comes the pitch taken low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes, to hold on to it for you.
Just a small upcharge.
Yeah.
You got to make a profit, I guess, so fair on you.
Kroll takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the next offering, low and outside for a ball. 2-0 from Quinn. Quinn falls behind here after he worked a 1-2-3 first inning. Really, the Vikings are fortunate to get out of that bottom of the first, only allowing 2 runs. When you allow 4 walks and hit a batter, really the minimum you can, here's a 2-0. This is low and outside for a ball. Of course, there could always be an out on the bases, but most likely 2 runs is the minimum that you're going to get out of that inning with, and that's holding the Oilmen to no hits, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and that might be the happiest I think Brian and Scott Nowakowski have ever been with a crooked number. That could have been way worse. And credit to Ladislas getting a lot of late strikes and then finally letting a ball get put in play on him and letting his defense go to work for him, which is what you and I were talking about. That's what he's going to need to do to be successful today. Trust his defense. This Vikings team very solid. Cano bobbled it, but still had enough time and made a strong throw at second base to get the out there to end the inning.
Yeah, close play. Here's the 3-1 pitch. This is low for ball 4. So Quinn falling behind 3-0. He delivered a strike as Kroll took the 3-0 pitch, but then he walks the leadoff hitter here in the second inning, and that'll bring up Anderson.
Yeah, and Jason Kroll has been in a hot streak this week. The other day on Tuesday, 5 for 5 against the Crespo Panthers with 2 RBIs. And he's been talking about this slump he was going in. And now finally yesterday I was like, hey, are you out of your slump now? Because he had multiple hits again against Lake County on Wednesday night. Another hit yesterday. I said, are you finally out of your slump? He said, yes, Calvin, I'm finally out of my slump.
Swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. When you're hot, you're hot, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for last week, it was Chris McDevitt who was hot. He had the home run, batted .411 with 7 hits on the week and 9 RBIs. This Vikings team, they relying on different guys to get things going each week, which really contributed on that 6-game hot streak they were on at one point.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. This is low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Quinn, his last outing did not walk anyone, and he issues a leadoff walk here in the second inning. He went 4 innings against Lake County on June the 16th, struck out 8 and walked none. 2 runs and 5 hits against him. But as Kevin talked about earlier in the ball game, control has been a strength for Quinn. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a ground ball right side. Sliding for it, not able to make the play is Tyler. This gets by him for a base hit into right field. Kroll to second safely. Anderson, ground ball single. Kind of sliding feet first toward it was Tyler. Not a routine play, but a play he would have liked to certainly make. And instead, it's runners at first and second, nobody out.
Welcome back to the Northern League. Logan Anderson on the first couple pitches he sees. How about a base knock? He's done that all throughout his time with the Southland Vikings and then MCL. Now here in the Northern League, I think he's happy to reopen up his league account with that base knock there. And a great attempt, though, by Tyler at second base.
A.J. Taylor standing in. This is low and outside for a ball. Tyler really impressive offensively last night. I think the defense is probably what he wants to improve from this first week of the season. He made an error on a drop pop-up in last night's game and then an error against the Vikings on Monday. 1 ball and no strikes to count. But he's young. He's straight out of high school and is just getting ready to begin his freshman year of college. And a very impressive offensive night for the Oilmen second baseman last night. Here comes the 1-0. This is low for a ball, 2-0.
And that's exactly what you're looking for. Vikings have several guys just like that as well, fresh out of high school. It's all about development and getting better. And for the key for Tyler, I think he's looking at this from both perspectives. The offensive perspective, I get to finally see some college-level pitching on a consistent basis every single day. And the defensive side, this college hitting levels, you're going to get a lot of hard ground balls. You're going to get a lot of tough plays. You're going to have to learn how to make them. And I think this is going to be a great summer for him, just learning how to be a ball player at the collegiate level.
This is foul. That's so valuable for so many of those guys that are making that adjustment. But the 2 balls and 1 strike the count here. But he's starting to get a little more comfortable here. I think when you first start at the beginning of the week, you really struggled in that first game. It's your first game at the college level. I think last night's a game that can build him some confidence. Here comes the 2-1. Swinging a ground ball sharply hit toward third. This is picked up by Zarnacki. Go to second 1. The relay throw from Tyler is in time. It's an around the horn 5-4-3 double play. Going to third on the play, Kroll. But the Oilmen get 2 outs on the wrap to third off the bat of Taylor. And now 2 gone with a runner at third. Anderson out at second on the play, and then Taylor out at first.
And that's a great defensive play there by Zarnacki at third. He had Kroll coming at him. He probably could have taken the bag at third base and tried to get Kroll there. And said he's like, I'm going to take the sure out at second, which I know I can get Anderson. And a nice strong throw from Tyler. Taylor is one of the sneaky guys on this team in terms of his speed. He's pretty quick down the line at first. So a nice throw there from him. Got him by a couple of steps, and just a great overall double play by this Oilman infield.
Swinging a tap foul by Cano. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. The Vikings the runner at third and 2 down now. Their wind kind of taken out of their sails here in this inning after the double play ball induced by Quinn a moment ago. And you have to make that split-second decision. Are you going to take it to the third base bag or throw to second? Here's the 0-1. Swinging a tap foul to third. Now it's 0-2.
Yeah, and it's always difficult when you have a guy coming right at you as well. And Jason Kroll might not be the fastest Viking, but he's tall and he's got some muscle to him. So you really don't want to have a collision with him because you'll probably be on the losing end of that collision with the Vikings catcher coming at you. So just a nice job of mentally being aware of where I can throw this baseball and where I can make a strong, accurate throw to.
Here's a 2-strike pitch, low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's an impressive block behind the plate there. That pitch was destined to go to the backstop and was destined to be the first run for the Vikings. And Cavazzo slides over, uses his left leg to kind of plant and slide himself, and he got his chest around that ball and was able to keep it in front of him and keep the Viking runner at third.
Yeah, it's as big as a solo home run right there. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and the inning ends, and the runner does indeed end up stranded at third base. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Vikings in that inning. We played an inning and a half. It remains Oilmen 2, Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
The return of a really special night at the ballpark, an annual staple at Oil City Stadium on Friday, July the 1st. It is Military Appreciation Night, and it's sponsored by Northwest Indiana Building and Trades Council, and also the return of Indiana Fallen Soldiers Memorial to Oil City Stadium. This is a night that's all about recognizing those who have and who are serving for our country. And it is always a special night, always a big crowd on hand. We invite you to join us for a great cause, 7:10 p.m. next Friday, July the 1st, and a good matchup on the field as well, Oilmen and Corn Dogs, right here at Oil City Stadium. First pitch, swing and a miss here by Mike Freitas, who is leading off the second inning. Freitas, the designated hitter for the Oilmen today, has mostly been used as a pitcher, but he does have the ability to swing the stick as well as he takes low and outside for a ball. A 125 batting average and limited duty so far this summer. Ball and a strike. Here's the next pitch, swinging a ground ball to short on 1 hop. This is fielded by Taylor. His throw to first is high, but it's received by Crowell, and that's the first out of the inning. Big to get the first out here for Ladislas.
The first down, and he was really helped out there by John Crowd. Not only the stretch, but to hold the back. He popped up for a second, but immediately was able to hop back on it there on that high throw from Taylor. That ball had some weird English on it coming off the lip of that grass in front of the shortstop position there, but nice throw by Taylor, just a little high, but he's got the beneficiary of a tall first baseman at John Crowell.
Yeah, that certainly helps. Here's a situation where Curcio shows bunt and pulls back and takes ball 1. The pitch was behind him. The count 1 ball and no strikes. It's a big inning for Ladislas as he's trying to bounce back from a really wobbly first inning control-wise.
Yeah, and you've already seen him getting that first out. That first out's going to be huge for him, whether he's able to retire that first batter. Just, I think, for a confidence sake after experiencing the first 2 batters to reach in the bottom of the first inning. If he's able to settle in and know that I can get quick outs, it could be a longer start for him, and Scott and Brian Nowakowski will not have to go to their bullpen as early as they would have thought they would have in that first inning.
Here comes the next offering, taken outside for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes as he's fallen behind Curcio here.
I don't think Curcio has swung at a single pitch yet from Ladislas. I believe it was a 4-pitch walk in the first, and now, there we go, there's the strike. So won't be back-to-back 4-pitch walks for him, but I'd like to see him take a swing here against Ladislas to see if he's able to drive a ball towards right field, outfield kind of at normal depth right now.
Here's the 3-1 to Curcio. It's taken outside ball 4, so he still has not taken the bat off his shoulder, and he's really had no reason to as he's drawn walks in each of his first 2 plate appearances. This one comes with 1 away in the second, and that'll bring up Marshall.
And that's not the worst walk in the world for Ladislas. He still has the double play in effect now, and 1 pitch can effectively end the inning for him. He's confident in his defense. He's proven that now. He's gotten a couple of ground ball outs, and his defense is there to back him up. But interesting to see, though, Marshall, he walked as well on 4 pitches. So if he's able to throw a strike here, maybe we can give him some confidence again.
First pitch to Marshall, outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes.
Guess I'm just jinxing him. I got to be jinxing him up here, Brandon.
It's It's been the trend, though. He has fallen behind consistently over the course of the first 2 innings. Here's the 1-0, way outside, 2-0. It's high as well, having to pop up from his catcher stance was Kroll to snag that one. 2-0 Oilmen. Here in inning number 2, Ladislas has had major control problems. Here's the 2-0. Low and outside, ball 3, wild pitch as this bounces away from Kroll and advancing to second safely is Curcio.
Yeah, once again, Ladislas having trouble establishing that fastball. The 1-0 pitch was a curveball that he missed up and away, and I just think it's a matter of just finishing right now. He's not following through on a lot of his pitches, and that's why we're seeing the ball pretty much go all over the place and not in the strike zone.
He has walked 5 and hit 1, and we're only in the second inning. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Taken high for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk. That is the 6th walk and the 7th free pass issued here tonight by Ladislas, and it's got to be getting close to the end of his day.
It has to be, and it just hasn't been Josh's night so far, and that's going to happen. He's going to put tough spot here. The Vikings, this is game number 5 in a stretch where they're playing 6 games in 6 days without any consecutive off days. It's been taxing the pitching staff. They've seen it over the last couple of days. They've had to dig deep for guys. Jason Kroll, the catcher, so there's a swing and a miss right there. Kroll, the catcher yesterday, they got so thin on pitching, came in to pitch in the 7th inning in yesterday's game against the Joliet Generals. He told me he hadn't pitched since his upperclassmen years of high school.
Runner goes and steals third base uncontested. Pitch low for a ball. This is a stolen base. Holding it first is Marshall, but Curcio steals third. Yeah, so what you're saying is that Brian Nowakowski just wants Ladislas to try to eat up some innings here.
That is the goal, and they're hoping by tomorrow.
Here's a floater towards center. It's going to get down out of the reach of Cano for a base hit, and advancing to second safely is Marshall. Coming in to score is Curcio. RBI single Kyle Tyler. He picks up his first RBI in an Oilman uniform, and that's the first hit of the ball game for the Oilmen. They now lead Southland by a 3-0 score.
And in talking to Scott Nowakowski, Brian Nowakowski, and Rocco Masu, the team's GM, they've all are in agreement. They do not care if their pitchers get hit around. They care that they throw strikes and they're at least finding the zone. They don't care about an RBI single up the middle to Tyler. They will take that all day. Why? Because Ladislas threw a strike. That has been the issue for this pitching staff, consistently throwing strikes. When they haven't played a lot of days consecutively, they've been able to do that because they're able to spread out their rotation. This week, that hasn't been the case, and it's coming to bite them here over the past couple of nights.
Z-Big swings and misses here. Here's the 0-1 to him, low for a ball. Here's a throw behind the runner to second, and back to the bag, safely standing up is Marshall. Count 1 ball, 1 strike on Z-Big. Z-Big, a base on balls his first time.
And I like the idea there of trying to get the back pick at second, just trying to give your pitcher some momentum and eliminate a runner in scoring position.
Here's the 1-1, swinging a foul back to the screen, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That being said, you have to be 100% sure you are going to hit your target, whether it be Taylor or Short or Cano at second base who's covering the bag. Otherwise, if that ball's in a center field, then all of a sudden you got a runner on third. Potentially, Tyler goes to second on a wild throw, so you have to be really careful doing those back picks.
1-2 inside for a ball, and runners are going to move up 90 feet apiece. Each runner advances. Wild pitch allows them to move up as Kroll has had a tough time back there with the wildness of Ladislas. This one low and in, probably a chance to maybe knock that down and keep it in front of him, but he's unable to do it, and it goes as a wild pitch, and now a base hit could drive in a pair.
And I think the most underrated thing about baseball a lot of people don't understand is that when a pitcher is wild,
2-2 here, Kevin inside, we go full.
It really throws off the catcher as well, if not throws off the catcher more, because you're sitting calling a fastball low and away, and you could be getting up and in, and then the very next pitch, you could be getting that spot right away. It's, I almost say, almost harder for a catcher.
There's a crack pass, the first baseman Crowell, and down the right field line. 1 run in, around third, trying to score Tyler. He's going to score. The throw's cut off. The throw towards second is going to be in time. Out at second base is Z-Big. This is a base hit for Z-Big. It was a hot smash past Crowell, the first baseman. Give Z-Big 2 RBIs. He now has 12 for the season. Marshall and Tyler come in to score, and it's 5-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Out at second base on the outfield assist from Bilecki, the right fielder, is Bilecki throws out Z-Big at second, and that is the second out of the inning. Now 2 outs, and the base is clear for Horniman, with the Oilmen leading 5-0. This pitch high and in for a ball, 1-0.
And that right there, that play by John Krause, the example of why this Vikings defense has been so strong. They're aware of the situation, and they try to make every strong defensive play possible. Krause understood that there was a very minimal chance of getting Tyler coming around from second base. So what do? Get a pretty sure out in Zebik, who didn't have the fastest sprint down the base to second, and a perfect throw on the money. They've been doing that a lot in terms of cutting balls off and getting those extra outs just by simply trying to snag runners outs who are trying to grab that extra bag, which isn't the most wise decision there, but overall, great piece of hitting there by Zebik.
Yeah, it was pitch low and outside here, 2-1. Crowell kind of bounced back where he would have liked to maybe stop the ball. Tough play to make, but potentially a ball he could have kept on the infield. It gets by him. Then he cuts off the throw from Bilicki. Here's a ground ball to second. This is scooped up by Cano. Nice play. Throws to first in time, and the inning ends. Back to that thought a bit later on. The Oilmen settle for the 3 runs. They do it on 2 hits and leave none. We've played 2. It's Oilmen 5, Southland 0 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
We're excited to welcome BP back as a proud sponsor of Oilmen Baseball here in 2022. Their large banner has been hung on the left center field portion of the outfield fence, and they are also sponsoring an exciting night coming up next month on Friday, July the 22nd. It is Police and Fire Appreciation Night here at Oil City Stadium. A 7:10 first pitch, Police and Fire Appreciation Night. Come out and recognize and appreciate some local heroes who really deserve that, and it's all sponsored by our friends at BP Whiting. And tickets are available now at NWIOilmen.com, a longtime sponsor of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen, BP, and the beautiful oil refinery providing the unique backdrop here at Oil City Stadium. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up in this inning as McKenna leads off. First pitch low for ball 1. The Oilmen have scored 5 over the first 2 frames, and it's thanks mostly to the wildness of Viking pitching.
Yeah, and now it becomes the moment where Scott Nowakowski, who's coaching third base today, and Brian Nowakowski have to make a decision together. They've been co-managing this team, to be honest, and they have to come together and make a decision here. Do we want to focus on eating the innings here and potentially risking this ball game so we know we have guys for tomorrow and then next week after the day off on Sunday? Or do we want to try and compete in this game? I think a lot of that decision comes on what the Vikings are able to do with the sticks this half inning right here.
Here's a 2-0 swing and a miss, and the count 2-1. We've seen a lot of big comebacks in the Northern League this season, and we have not seen a lot of blowouts. No lead has been safe, and a lot of games that look like they're headed toward blowout territory end up being cliffhangers. 2 balls and a strike on McKenna. Quinn's pitch is fouled off the body of McKenna, and the count 2-2.
Yeah, and that just shows the parity in this league and how every team is competitive. And it really gives the players and also fans a sense of hope as, hey, we could be coming to the ballpark or we could be watching these games online and our team could win a game every single night. That's good for teams 1 through 6. I mean, sure, you might be on the losing side more times than not, but either way, it's fun to watch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. McKenna runs it out down to first. Cabeza fires to first in time, and that is the first out of the 3rd inning. That is the 2nd strikeout of the day, recorded by Quinn, who's been solid here in the early going, and there's 1 away. in inning number 3 for Nick Knowles.
And Quinn with a perfect response. Fell behind 2-0 in that bat. And Westview comes back with a fastball for a strike. Another fastball that McKenna fouls off in there. Breaking ball down in a way that McKenna had to swing at, because for most of the way, that was like a strike from our angle, so I'm sure for Zach's angle as well, it was a strike all the way, and he just fooled him there with a great breaking ball.
One out and the base is clear. First pitcher swinging a little tap along the third base line. Going to be a tough play. Fielding it, throwing to first. In time is the third baseman Zarnecki. What a play by Zarnecki. This was a slow tapper along the third base line. He races in, makes a running throw to first, and it nips Nick Knowles at first base for a 5-3 putout.
And what was more impressive is that Zarnecki was cheating towards the left side of the infield almost, or towards his left, our right, and almost towards that 5-6 hole that a lot of guys will play typically in the shift. So he kind of banana swirled around that ball and was able to pick it up and fire it. Very similar route that an outfielder would normally take to a ball in the gap. He did it right there on a little weak numbler, and Knowles not the fastest guy, and Zarnecki was the recipient of a great throw from him to Marshall.
Swing and a miss on a tip into the mitt by Kyle Fenner, and the count no balls and 1 strike. 5-0 the score in favor of the Oilmen as we play the top of inning number 3. Quinn spotted to a nice lead here in the early stages of the game. Here's a line drive to right. It's going to be a base hit, a 2-out single for Fenner, and he's going to take a big turnaround first and hold there. Fenner's having himself an outstanding season for the Vikings. He's hitting .396, and he ranks 4th in the league or .393 going into play today, and he added to that with a base hit there. He ranks 4th in the league in batting average. He's tied for 4th in hits with 24, and he also is a threat to steal when he reaches base, as he's 4th in the league with 7 stolen bases.
He is your perfect, ideal center fielder and leadoff man. He's the guy that I think every college coach and every summer ball coach would love to have writing in his lineup card every single day because of his ability to just put the ball in play, get on base, and that speed really comes in handy as well, not only taking the extra base, but also on the times where he may have some weaker contact. He's beaten a lot of balls on the infield that are probably should be outs to a lot of hitters, that he uses his speed and takes advantage of it and is able to get hits and boost that batting average. And you were talking about the All-Star game earlier for one of your promos. I think he could be a guy that we could be seeing come midsummer.
Here's a strike called. If he keeps up this pace, he'll be a lock to be in the Northern League All-Star game. As he's out to a big lead here. There was one pickoff throw from Quinn. Bilicki standing in. He lined to left his first time. No balls and a strike. 2 outs. 5-0 Oilmen in the third. Here's the 0-1 swing and a miss. He went with something off speed, and out in front was Bilicki, and it's 0-2.
And Bilicki's also a guy who has kind of came into his own this week. He was a late arrival for this Vikings team, but this past couple of weeks here, 2 home runs, including a moonshot at Marian Catholic on Tuesday. I mean, that ball was probably 350, 360.
Here's a wild pickoff throw to first, and advancing to second base safely on the E1 is Fenner. So that's what speed does, and moving up 90 feet into scoring position is Fenner. But you were talking about the moonshot.
Yeah, I mean, Marian Catholic, 317 to 320 down the line. It's really easy to hit a home run there if you're a pull hitter and you like to hit it down the line. And it was no doubt off the bat that was gone. The only question was that would it stay fair, and it stayed fair by a mile. It was probably the furthest home run I think I've seen covering the Vikings this summer, whether it be for the Vikings or against the Vikings. It was a no-doubter for sure.
This is fisted in the air, foul left side. The count remains no balls and 2 strikes.
And that's his approach. He likes pulling the ball. He likes taking it pull or pull right center, which is where he's able to do a lot of his damage because he's been able to find the gap a lot of times with solid contact. So if you're the pitcher here, you can't let him get his hands extended and let him drive that ball to the right side of the field since he's a left-handed hitter.
0-2, 2 outs, 5-0 in favor of the Oilmen. This is outside for a ball, 1-2. Bilicki trying to drive in the first Viking run of the game with a 2-out hit here. Oilmen trying to extend their winning streak. They have now won 3 consecutive games since the loss to the Vikings on Monday night. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the inning ends. Nice job by Quinn to work out of it. No runs, a hit, and 1 left. We've played 2.5. It remains Oilmen 5 and the Vikings 0 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Notre Dame FCU is your full-service, non-for-profit cooperative serving all of Lake County. They go where you go. Bank online, through a mobile app, or by phone. While others answer to stockholders, Notre Dame FCU answers to their members. Visit NotreDameFCU.com/member to become a member and receive $200 when you open up a checking account. Insured by NCUA. Visit their website for full offer details or for more information on their products and services. That's NotreDameFCU.com/member. We take it to the bottom of the third, 5-0 Oilmen, and it's still Ladislas who has struggled in terms of control and has allowed 5 runs in the first 2 innings. But he's going to get a chance to start this third, and he delivers a strike, Kevin, to Zarnacki, 0-1.
And I mentioned going into the top of the third, what the Vikings offensively would dictate what Brian Nowakowski would do, whether he would go to his bullpen or not. Vikings put up a goose egg in the top half of this inning. Clearly he's going for the let's eat some innings here, let's save some bullpen arms. Very important game tomorrow night on the road at Lake County, a place where the Vikings have not won, but the Vikings and Corn Dogs also starting to form a bit of a rivalry. Oh, wow.
Look out, hitting the helmet here was Zarnacki. This is, appears to be okay. He immediately runs to first base. He was hit up in the head area, it appeared, as he was trying to duck out of the way from that one. Now as he gets to first, he kind of shovels the helmet aside, and Adam Enright's going to go over to take a look and make sure that he is okay to stay in this game.
Yeah, scary scene there for a moment just because of where that ball hit him. Looked like it was square off the helmet, which is, even though you have the helmet and the padding there, it's still never a good sign. You always want to make sure with head injuries and the development and sciences over the past couple of years, we really get a sense of how much head trauma can really affect you as a human being on both the personal and mental side of things. So let's hope he's okay. He's staying in the ball game right now, which is a great sign.
Yeah, Brian Jennings and Adam Enright took a quick look at him, and he's good to go. So Zarnacki hit by a pitch. That's the second hit batter of the ball game for Ladislas, and it goes along with wildness that has occurred throughout the game. He, in the first inning, issued 4 walks and then followed that up by walking 2 more in the last inning. And you add the 2 hit batters, he's issued 8 free passes, and we're only in the third. Tom McCannon takes high for ball 1.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we're not seeing any action in the I take that back. We now are. It seems to be that Zach Costello and Sean Moore are both getting loosed right now in that Viking bullpen.
There's a ground ball towards short. This is bobbled, recovered, flipped to second one. The bare hand relay and the throw to first is in time, and it's dug out by Crowell on the other end. Taylor, the shortstop, bobbled the ball. He recovered, flipped to Cano, who barehanded it. Cano's relay to Crowell. Crowell digs it out, and then shaken up at the end of the play is the shortstop, Taylor. And a nifty double play for the Viking infield.
Full display on why the Vikings defense has kept him into so many ball games right now. It's for plays like that. Taylor staying with the play even after the bottle. A lot of guys would have given up on that play, and plays Cano showing off why he's one of the better defenders in this entire league. The barehanded play, low throw, but John Crowell stuck through that ball, let it hop, and read the hop perfectly, and made a perfect pick there at first.
Yeah, after the bobble, he was really going to have to hurry to turn 2, and Cano, the excellent bare hand relay, as he received the throw with his bare hand and threw on to Crowell for the double play. Now 2 outs and the base is cleared. It's 1 ball and 1 strike on Cabeza. Cabeza backs away. And Taylor appeared to be a little shaken up after that play. But he's okay. Here's the 1-1. It's a strike, and the count 1-2.
And you can tell that double play really gave Lazarus some momentum here. He's come out firing multiple strikes to Cabeza. He's able to get one more. That's just a huge momentum shift. It'd be the first inning the Vikings would be able to shut down the Oilmen today.
He has a ball fisted towards short, racing in for it. Taylor, he picks up this one, makes a nifty play, and throws to first in time on the roller to shortstop, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, nobody left for the Oilmen in the third. We've played 3. Oilmen 5, Southland nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
And we're back at Oil City Stadium as we take it to the 4th inning. The Oilmen a 5-0 lead. For the second straight night, the Oilmen with a pair of crooked numbers early in the ballgame. They had 3 runs in each of the first 2 innings last night to jump out to a 6-0 lead, and tonight they jump out to a 5-0 lead, thanks mostly to being patient and working a lot of walks.
And that's the key to baseball, is as easy as it might sound, throwing strikes. That's the biggest difference in a lot of ball games in all levels, from Little League all the way through the major league levels. Are you able to throw strikes? If you're able to throw strikes, you put yourself in a good position to win a ball game. Landing Slash has not been able to do that tonight. Oilmen have taken full advantage of that, like you mentioned, Brandon, as that crooked number is really going to hurt the Vikings. But this is a big inning for Southland. They finally put up a 0 against the Oilmen on the defensive side of things. They have the heart of their order coming up with John Crowell, Jason Kroll, and Logan Anderson. This is the inning that if they want to get something going and get back in this game, they have to respond now with the heart of their order at the plate.
5-0 Oilmen as we go to inning number 4. Again, the Oilmen a 16-6 victory over the Chicago American Giants yesterday. Chris Baker tied an Oilmen record with 5 hits in the game. This is taken for a strike. He's not at the ballpark tonight, but Adam Enright talking yesterday about how he perhaps will have an opportunity for a tryout to play professionally, and that's the whole goal for him this summer. Here's the 0-1, swinging a grounder foul left side. Baker, a big game yesterday. He's really swinging the bat well. He, again, 5 hits. He had a chance for a 6th hit and struck out in his 6th and final at bat. But it's kind of the new vision of the league to try to not only develop young players that are maybe going into college or already in college, but some veterans as part of these rosters as well, including graduated players that are trying to extend their careers and play professionally. This is low and outside 1 and 2, and Chris Baker has taken full advantage of that.
And that's the beauty of independent league baseball. That's what at its heart, it's trying to allow guys to get their dreams or give guys one more shot at their dreams and work for them right there. And Baker, the epitome of that so far. Southland has several guys so far who are trying to be one of those graduated players who get back in professional ball, playing at least semi-pro ball. And it's nice to see that the vision is starting to work out here in year one, kind of the new vision of the league.
Pitch fouled here. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on John Crowell. Not to be confused with Jason Kroll, who's on deck. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and the pitch. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. This is Tyler, the second baseman, stays back on it, makes the throw to first in time, and that's the first out of the 4th inning. Oilmen with 16 runs on 13 hits last night, and Adam Enright telling me after that they're being able to, they have an ability now to square up baseballs more often when they get into counts where they're receiving hittable pitches. So when the other pitcher falls behind in the count, the Oilmen are more frequently squaring balls up when they can sit on fastballs. Early in the season, they were getting into those favorable counts, but not able to take full advantage, and they were fouling a lot of hittable fastballs off. But as of the last 3 games, the 2 against Joliet on Wednesday and the 1 last night against the Giants, they're doing some damage on those hittable fastballs in those fastball counts.
Yeah, that's what you want as a team. And as a manager, you just got to be proud of that, because the easiest pitch to hit, even though it's not necessarily easy, is that fastball, because it's the only pitch that has very little to no movement. You know it's coming in a lot of counts, and if you're able to drive a ball, it's impressive already. When you get a fastball in on the hands and you're able to drive it, you feel good about yourselves. You might do some bragging in the dugout afterwards when you get back in. It's just a good feeling as a hitter, and to see that happen multiple times in a game, you get really proud as a coach and as a player, knowing that, hey, look at what we did tonight.
0-2 here on Kroll, who fouled the last pitch away. 5-0 Oilmen in the 4th. Here's the set and the 0-2 pitch. It's low and outside for a ball. Did you do a lot of bragging in the dugout as a player?
Well, when I was younger, yes, and when I got older and started to become less efficient, no. Pitching-wise, when I got switched over to pitcher, not really, because I didn't like talking in between innings when I was pitching.
Yeah.
So, but when I was younger, yes, I think that's naturally all kids do that, because they're like, look what I just did. I just hit a triple or whatever.
Here's the 1-2, swinging a ground ball toward third. This is gobbled up at third and thrown high. It's an E5 on Zarnacki. Safe at first is Kroll. A wild throw on a routine play, and that allows Anderson to come up with a runner on and 1 away.
The throw from Zarnacki there, very reminiscent of one of the throws that we saw during that in-between innings promotion where the kid hits the T-ball there. Just kind of skied it over Marshall's head, and Marshall never really had a chance to catch that baseball. And I think it's just because Zarnacki never got set, really. You have to set and make sure you plant your feet correctly. He was on the run the entire time, and he probably should realize that Jason Kroll is not the fastest runner down the line, and he probably regrets rushing that throw, because he definitely did rush that ball.
Runner on first with 1 away, and Anderson stands in. Here's the first pitch swing, and he smashes this one high in the air. The only question is, will it stay fair? And it's curling and going foul. Boy, it had plenty of distance, but it was well foul by the time it landed. You could hear the crack of the bat from Anderson, and he has an ability to do some damage up there.
Yeah, he's a product of Marshall University, which is a Division I program, so he's got a lot of high-level playing experience, and he had the entire Vikings dugout jumping over the fence, trying to all use their bodies and motion that ball fair.
0-1 on Anderson. Here's Quinn's pitch. Low for a ball. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Vikings coming off an 8-4 loss to the Joliet Generals last night. The 4th inning, I believe it was, Kevin, the Generals had 5 runs on just 2 hits. And Southland, a similar issue to what they faced tonight, issued 6 free passes in that inning. The 1-1, swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
Yeah, and it goes back to the limited number of arms. You don't want to make excuses, but that definitely played into a factor. But he used several guys in yesterday's game who had very little experience. They hadn't pitched in a couple of weeks based off the rotation, the way off days fell and everything like that. And you want to make sure guys are throwing on their throw days so they could properly do their in-between day rotations and workouts.
Runner goes here. The 1-2 is popped up. The runner's going to have to scurry back to first base. This is going to be caught by the first baseman, Marshall, for the second out of the inning. And back to first safely is Kroll. 2 gone, 1 on for Taylor. So the Vikings put the runner in motion, but a pop-up on the infield thwarts any plan of a successful hit and run. And now Taylor will stand next.
Yeah, and Logan Anderson is probably kicking himself a little bit. Had he waited probably just half a second or so longer on that first pitch, you saw he has a 2-run homer, and all of a sudden this is just a 3-run game and a brand new ball game from a Vikings standpoint, just for momentum's sake. So not the at-bat he wanted, but it's also proof, though, for the rest of this Vikings team that, hey, Quinn throws some hittable pitches here. If we're able to put good lumber on it, we can drive the ball. And the short porch in left field really helps that for a lot of right-handed power hitters, which is what the Vikings have.
And the runner goes. Pitch taken for a strike. Throw to second base is going to be in time. Great job by Cabeza. He had a big jump, but he gunned him down nonetheless. 2-4 on the caught stealing, and the inning ends. No runs, no hits, nobody left for the Vikings in the fourth. We played 3.5. It remains Oilmen 5, Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
It's just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back at Oil City Stadium, where there's a new pitcher on the mound, you can close the book on Josh Ladislas as he goes 3 innings. He allows just 2 hits, but 5 runs. They were earned, and the issue is the control. He walked 6 and hit 2 while striking out 2. And now it's left-hander Sean Moore on to work for the Vikings. What does Moore bring to the table? What do we expect to see from him, Kevin, on the mound?
Well, first thing, being a left-handed pitcher, is the first thing he really brings to this table. So you'll get a lot of left-handed hitters that will struggle off him, and that's where he thrives. He loves those lefty-lefty matchups. He prefers them to facing lefty-righties because of the fact that the pitchers and hitters have a lot of tough times hitting off him. Solid fastball command. Had some consistency issues with his off-speed pitches, but if he's able to locate his fastball, he's able to control out the at-bats, and the location of the off-speed pitches that he throws doesn't matter as much when he's able to get 0-2, 1-2 on a lot of fastball command, which is what he's been able to thrive with so far in the relief spot that he's been in this season.
Mike Freitas will lead off, and he'll be followed by Curcio and Marshall here in this 4th inning. Hispanic Heritage Night at the ballpark. Some great music jamming through the PA system. Here's a ground ball weakly hit to the left side. This is fielded by the third baseman Knowles. His throw to first is in time. Freitas is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice, and that's the first out of the 4th inning.
And that right there is what also Sean Moore is able to do, not just fastball command, but he gets a lot of weak contact. He gets a lot of ground balls, makes his infield work a lot, which is a good and a bad thing. But when you have a defense like the Vikings have in terms of your 4 infielders, a lot of pitchers are pretty confident knowing that, hey, I can let these guys hit it and hit the ball on the ground, and my infield's going to be there to back me up.
First pitch low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Curcio has walked and scored twice. Here's the 1-0. Taken high and in for a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. The Oilmen trying to extend the lead here in this inning. This pitch is lifted foul out of play. They did all their damage in the first 2 frames, 2 in the first and 3 in the second. Southland trying to get back on track. We mentioned they were on a 6-game winning streak, but now they have lost the last 2 games, losing 5-0 to Lake County on Wednesday and 8-5 to Joliet on Thursday. 2-1 here is a strike call, and it's 2-2.
Well, 2 combinations really go into ending a winning streak like that. Not throwing strikes and not being able to hit the baseball, which is what Southland has done in both of the last games. Lake County, they were just on the receiving end of a great pitching performance by Burke, who shut them down yet again for the second time. And last night, it was a matter of not being able to throw strikes against a Joliet team who's had some troubles offensively and really haven't been able to do much against this Viking staff, with the exception of working walks and working pitch counts and maybe getting the occasional hit or two against them. You mentioned already that fourth inning, 5 runs on just 2 hits. And once again, it's very similar spot that this Oilmen team has been, at least over the culmination of the first 3 1/3, 5 runs on 2 hits.
1 out walk, and now Marshall stands in. He takes low and outside for a ball. This is a Viking team, too, Kevin, that's in a kind of tough stretch in the schedule. It really gets no easier. A lot of matchups coming up with the Corn Dogs and the Oilmen. They play 1-0 here, swing and a miss. They play at Lake County tomorrow night, and then host the Oilmen Monday, and on the road against the Oilmen on Tuesday.
It's a tough stretch, and there's no doubt about it. This is how you separate the great teams from the good teams, especially in these types of leagues when there's only 6 teams and the top 4 make it into the postseason. Southland, earlier in the month, was on a stretch of 10 games in 12 days. They did solid on that stretch. That 6-game winning streak was really also the beneficiaries of getting multiple days off throughout that stretch. They didn't have that tonight as hit by pitch there for Marshall. And they only get 1 off day for that stretch before they get the Oilmen twice next week on Sunday. And I think they're really going to enjoy that off day just simply so they can rest, relax, and recover.
2-1 now, 1 away for Kyle Tyler, a walk and a hit batter in this inning. And so the Oilmen have been the beneficiary of now up to 3 hit by pitches and 7 walks, so 10 free passes. Here's a strike, and it's 0-1.
And you talk about tough stretches. How about playing the Lake County Corn Dogs 8 times overall, 7 times in the month of June? Just by the end of this month, they have 2 more matchups, one tomorrow night on the road, and then next Thursday they get the Corn Dogs at home. 7 times is a lot of seeing one team, and they just so happen to be the best team in the league. It's been a really tough stretch so far. The home team has won every matchup, so they're 3-4, which I think a lot of teams would take against a team that has been as solid as the Corn Dogs have been.
Tyler went around too far on a pitch that was upstairs. He's out on strikes for the second time today. 2 outs and 2 on, and that'll bring up Z-Big. 2 down and 2 on. Jack Z-Big digs in. Each team with 2 hits. Here's a strike, and it's 0-1. Oilmen 5 runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors. The Vikings, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Here's the 0-1. Taken high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moore trying to put a 0 on the board. The Oilmen failed to score in the 3rd after the big innings in each of the first 2 frames. Multi-run innings at least. Here comes the 1-1. Swinging a ball cued foul. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is the 98th matchup between the Oilmen and the Southland Vikings. Oilmen have seen this Viking team more than any other ball club in the Northern League. They are the 2 oldest teams in the league, with the Oilmen dating back to 2012. Runners go. Pitch taken for strike 3 call, and the inning ends. Runners were in motion on that 1-2 pitch. Z-Big is called out on strikes, and the side retired. No runs, no hits, and 2 left for the Oilmen in the 4th. Leo will have it for you when we come back. It's the Oilmen 5 and the Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat!
You hire certified electricians
and no byproducts.
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Leo Stoddard, Kevin Mulater back with you here for the 5th inning. Frank Quinn stays on the mound for the Oilmen. He's worked 4 scoreless innings so far, off to his first start of the season against a team other than the Lake County Corn Dogs. And so far, through 4 innings, he's just allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. What's been working so far for Quinn on the mound?
Throwing strikes and allowing your defense to go to work. That's something that Brandon and I have been talking about for the course of these first 4 innings, and he's done exactly that. He's made this Vikings team put the ball in play, and all the contact Southland's had, maybe with the exception of that long foul ball by Logan Anderson in the last inning, has been relatively weak contact. He's also gotten a couple of strikeouts to go his way just because he's fooling the hitter's eye levels, which is something that a lot of college coaches are impressed by many different pitchers. Quinn's been able to do that tonight, and that's why he's been able to take care of the Southland Viking offense with relatively easy business.
It'll be Taylor, Cano, and McKenna, the 1, 2, 3 for the Vikings here in the 5th inning as they get set to oppose Frank Quinn. Taylor last time grounded into a double play. Lays off that one outside for the first pitch ball. It also has seemed if Quinn's throwing a lot of stuff that the Viking batters are swinging on top of. They're putting a lot of contact on the ground, not a lot of fly ball contact, which has been big for Quinn, letting his defense help out behind him. As the 1-0 delivery. Outside, but it looks like Taylor goes on it, checks a little bit. So leaving the count at 1-1 as that rolls past Cabeza behind the plate.
Yeah, and to your point, the Southland Vikings team, a lot of the guys like working the ball in the air, working to left center, so naturally your swing's going to be more upward. So when he pitches down the zone, you're naturally just going to get the top or the bottom of the barrel on it, which allows that ball to drive straight into the ground.
1-1 inside for strike 2. Grabs the near part of the strike zone there. So Quinn in the driver's seat in this count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out here. Top of the 5th inning, the Oilmen lead 5-0. Looking for their 4th win in 3 days. This one fouled away behind home plate. They had a doubleheader sweep over the Joliet Generals on Wednesday and then took down Chicago American Giants last night. So they're looking to get their 2nd win of the homestand here. Also chasing their first win of the season against the Southland Vikings. They met for the first time on Monday, and Southland had a really good pitching performance from Max Everard as this one's taken for a ride out to left field. Moving in is Horniman, and he makes the catch there for the first out of this 5th inning. He dropped it there, so that'll be a base hit. I was fooled by that one a little bit. So that'll be a first pitch single there from A.J. Taylor.
And Taylor, great piece of hitting there. Questionable decision by Horniman. He probably could have came in and tried to maybe make a sliding catch. Instead, he tried to basket that ball, and it eventually just kind of dropped right in front of him. Maybe it hit the middle. I know we're kind of far away from that play. Questionable decision, though, but that's what Southland needs. They need base runners. When you're down by 5, you need base runners, and it's a perfect job there by Taylor. Just putting the ball in play, taking a 2-strike pitch right where the hit came from on the inside corner.
Blaze Cano takes a hefty hack at that first pitch from Quinn for strike 1. He now has a runner on base. Last time up, Cano was a strikeout victim against Quinn, the right-hander. Plays his collegiate ball at St. Ambrose. He throws over to first base there. Lets Taylor know he's thinking of him, but doesn't get the out there. At this point, this is the longest outing of the season from Quinn so far, and he's been doing a lot of it by throwing strikes, doing a good job of hitting the zone, not falling behind in too many counts, as he's got the 0-1 count here. Throws over to first again. This one gets past Marshall. Taylor's going to be off for the races to second base. Marshall runs into foul territory to track it down. So that'll be an error that puts Taylor on second base now.
And the one thing that Southland needs to do is take advantage of the Oilmen errors. 3rd error of the night by this Oilmen defense. That time, 2nd throwing error, by the way, for Quinn on a pickoff attempt, too. Maybe it's some miscommunication between him and Marshall and whether Marshall knows when the drop step is coming from Quinn so he can be prepared to catch that ball, or whether Quinn's just throwing the ball really errant towards first. It could be a combination of either one, but Southland needs this runner to come in from second base.
Quinn readies for the 0-1 pitch. This one chopped foul to the third base side of the diamond, so that'll make it an 0-2 count. First offering he's made to the plate in a couple of throws after a few pickoff attempts to first base. An errant one resulted in Taylor moving over 90 feet. So now his runner on second. Still nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. Southland at the plate here. Quinn steadies on the mound. A long pause here between pitches, and a timeout will be called by Mike Clay behind the plate. That'll give Cano a chance to step out of the box and get ready to do battle with Frank Quinn again. Quinn with a long pause between pitches, looks over at second base, now moves towards the bag here. This one is a ball, and that we saw Taylor going with the pitch there, and that puts him on third base as that got past the catcher Cabeza, but he was already basically at third base there. So the speed of A.J. Taylor has put him 90 feet away from scoring here. With the 1-2 count, he has a pretty good chance of trying to get across the plate in this inning.
Yeah, and it just comes down to Blaze Cano and Zach McKenna's on deck, and if Nick Knowles gets up to the plate, just pulling the ball in play.
This one foul away on third base side, so we remain at 1-2 here.
And Cano, the batter, has great speed. And that's the thing about the Southland Vikings team. They have a lot of guys who may not look like they're the fastest, the most athletic guys, but they have guys who will full-on sprint 90 feet. They have a lot of guys who will go the full hard 90s down to first, which is what you appreciate as a coach. And I think a lot of baseball fans and coaches at the collegiate level appreciate that as well.
The 1-2 pitch, fouled away again. And that's what helps so much, too, in this league is having players that can maybe go first to third on a play that might only be one base or make a double out of a single, being able to extend opportunities on the base paths when you have hitters struggling at the plate. It helps that you can have speed on the base paths to steal a couple runs.
And there's no doubt that there's not a lack of hustle in this league. And it's not saying that some guys who are faster because they hustle or care more. It's just it helps your lineup a lot better when you have guys who have that speed.
Quinn prepares himself for the 1-2, a lengthy at-bat here with Cano, who's been fouling off a lot of pitches here. Throws toward the plate here, swing and a miss, strike three. Quinn comes out on top here and captures his first out of the fifth inning.
Big first out there. Blaze Cano was fighting off a lot of tough pitches. You thought maybe he was in a spot to potentially put the ball in play and at least get the run in from third or potentially beat on an infield hit depending on where that is. Cano with a lot of great speed. Now it's up to Zach McKenna here with one away. Now a potential inning-ending double play on a sacrifice fly could be in effect too.
McKenna, the Vikings left fielder, was a strikeout victim his last time up. He puts the first pitch he sees from Quinn in the air. Moving back on it is Tyler. He makes the catch. And Taylor stays put at third base. He thought about going there, but decided not to test Kyle Tyler. It's Taylor on third base, Tyler making the catch at second base. And that's the second out of the inning there. So that brings Nick Knowles to the plate here with one man on and two outs.
And if that ball was maybe 2 or 3 feet further in the outfield, Taylor's running home. He took a big aggressive jump there. He thought about it even after Tyler made the catch on the lip of the outfield grass. So you have to assume that if it was a couple feet deeper, Taylor's off and running. We got to play at the plate.
The first pitch to Knowles. This one sent near the right field line. That drops foul. And McKenna might have helped out Quinn a little bit on the mound too, swinging at the first pitch he saw, quickly retiring out after a long at-bat against Cano. Quinn only needs one pitch to send McKenna back to the dugout.
Yeah, and this is now a situation for Southland where you just have to get ahead here. You don't like pressing that way, but you have to. You just need something and just to show some sign of life.
This one outside, evens count one. They previously had a runner on third base, Jason Kroll, in the second inning. But he was unable to come across. That inning ended with a strikeout. Quinn's hoping for a similar result here. He's recorded 4 strikeouts so far this evening. Counts even at 1-1. And this one's put in the air by Knowles to left field. Horniman moves in on it, can't get to it, and in comes Taylor for the first round of the game for the Southland Vikings. That'll make it 5-1 here in the fifth inning.
And that one pleases the large contingent of Southland Vikings fans who made the trip over from Downlink Park in Hammond. And a nice business headed there by Nick Knowles. Fastball up and in, and he got his hands to that ball and got the barrel around to it and sent that ball to left center field. Nothing Horniman or Zebe could do going out in a shallow left center for that ball. And Southland's on the board, and now the top of their order's up. Granted, there are 2 outs, but it's nice that they have at least some sign of life here in this fifth inning.
So Kyle Fenner and the top of the order come up to the box here with 2 outs, a man on. Southland now cutting the deficit from 5-4. Here in the top of the fifth inning. Quinn looks to face Fenner, who walked his last time up. He sends this over to third base where Zarnacki can't quite handle it. That gets away from him. No throw made over. That'll be
A base hit for Fenner as a hard hit steamer over to Sarnak.
That ball was pummeled into the ground there, and that just took a really bad hop. Because it was so hard hit, you have to give the single there for Fenner. He's been on fire the past couple weeks as well. He's really found his swing, which is why he's could be a lock for this Northern League All-Star game. He's able to keep up this production because multiple hits tonight, multiple hits the other night. He had a multi-hit game last week in a 14-4 victory for the Vikings over the Panthers. He has been so effective in the last couple of weeks, and it's been the heart of the Vikings' top half of the order, and have been a lock in that leadoff spot, which I think every manager, even at the major level, would like to have a consistent bat at the top of their order every single day.
The first pitch, George Bilecki outside for ball one. Just a good two-out rip there by Fenner to extend the inning for the Vikings. Put multiple men on for them. They're trying to threaten here. Probably their best chance of the evening to try to score multiple runs in an inning. As Quinn looks to the runner on second now towards the plate. This one is outside for ball two. Moves the count to 2-0. Lucky 0 for 2 so far. A flyout and a strikeout in the first and third innings. Looking for his first appearance on base against Quinn and the Oilmen here. As the right-hander gets ready on the mound to face the lefty. Here comes his pitch. This one fouled away on the first base side. Moves the count to 2-1. Southland's had base runners in every inning but the first, which just haven't quite been able to advance them around. Third base across the plate. As they're looking to try to keep hanging with the Oilmen here. Quinn prepares for his 2-1 pitch. Chasing the third out of this inning, trying to keep the damage at a minimum. Here it comes out of the stretch. This one called for a strike, evens the count at 2.
And Bilecki was not mad at that call, but was mad at him swinging on that foul ball. He was mad at himself mainly because of the fact that he knows he can drive that pitch. He drove that pitch in yesterday's game, or 2 days ago. He had a pitch in the exact same spot that he was able to drive it for hard contact. He knows that spot. He knows that pitch well. He was annoyed that he fouled it off, and now he's in a 2-2 count here with 2 out.
And here comes the 2-2 from Quinn towards the plate. High for ball 4, or for ball 3. We go full here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Quinn looking to avoid throwing ball 4.
This is an interesting scenario here. The runners will be going on the pitch here, and Bilecki has to be really aware of the strike zone here. You don't want to take and be rung up on a borderline pitch. He's going to be swinging away here on anything closer to the strike zone here. So if you're the Vikings runners, Knowles and Fenner, get ready to run.
And head start time for the runners. This one is within the strike zone for a strikeout looking. Frank Quinn gets the big spot there to end the inning. The Vikings are able to score 1 on a pair of hits, or on 3 hits, but the Oilmen still in charge here. They lead 5-1 midway through 5. You're following along on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
We're back here for the bottom of the 5th inning, where it will be Horniman, Zarnacki, and Famakanen to lead things off for the Oilmen. They lead this game 5-1, but an interesting stat after that top of the 5th inning, the Southland Vikings now lead in hits 5-2. They've been able to barrel up more bats on balls than the Oilmen have, but the Oilmen took advantage of some early walks, and that's a big reason why they're ahead in this game.
Walks have been the biggest difference in this ball game now. If you just go off of hits and the timeliness of the hits right now, it's maybe a 2-1 or a 3-run Oilmen lead instead of this 5-1 game right now. So It's up to Southland. It's up really to Sean Moore now. Keep throwing strikes, put up another 0, get your offense back going. They finally broke through and got a run aboard now. They believe they can get some runs across now, and who knows, maybe we can see, Brandon and I were talking about the comebacks in this league. We could see another one tonight if Southland's able to keep consistently hitting, because eventually those hits are going to fall with multiple guys on base. It's just a matter of time, really.
And if you look at the hits for the Oilmen, they haven't registered one since the second inning. That was the last time they scored as well. They've just been able to capitalize on some walks here. As Tyler Cannon comes to the box to face Sean Moore for the first time this evening. Lefty sends that one low for a ball. So the Oilmen really capitalize on walks. Both of those hits, this one called a strike. Both those hits came when runners were already on base due to the walks. So that helps us getting that situational hitting. You don't have as many hits. Another quick pitch for Moore. This one sent over to first base. Past the glove of Crowell, rolls out to right field. So now the Oilmen have a leadoff base runner there.
And kind of speaking of the devil there, the Oilmen haven't got a hit for the second inning there, and that's just finding a hole. Crowell with a nice dive. Cano came over from second with a diving attempt. If Cano had made that play at second base, the question would have been whether Sean Moore would be able to get over and cover enough in time. I don't think he would have been able to. So a nice pick of hitting there from Horniman. Now runner on, no one out. But once again, though, for the Vikings, you'll take that a day. You'd rather have the base runners come via hits than via the walk, which happened in those first 2 innings.
Zarnacki sends this one foul just behind the netting at home plate near the press box here.
Have we ever gone? Anyone have ever gotten a ball in the booth here? Have you got one yet in the booth?
We have not. We've actually had a couple of close calls this season. I think either it was Adam Oppenheimer or Andrew Mild asked about that before. Has anyone ever come up? And now it feels like since that question was asked, we've seen that happen a couple of times now where it's come near our press box. So when it's inside to even kind of 1-1. Zarnacki wanted all that one, just a little under the ball there and sent it way back near us. So he has a runner on first base, nobody out. Moore steps off the mound there.
And we almost had one, speaking of foul balls, we almost had one yesterday at Dowling where it just barely got over it was about to get over the net. Strong gust of wind pushed it back, and that ball ended up being in play.
So this one is put in play, high near second base. Moving in on it is Cano. He falls over, but is able to keep track with it and get the catch there for the first out of this inning. This one looked like it traveled a little bit on him, pretty high up, but he was able to follow it through and make the catch.
That's just Blaise Cannell being Blaise Cannell. Oh, just solid defender no matter what. Strong path to the ball there. Tailed away from it last second, but still was in a great enough position where he was able to still make that grab despite falling away. That's just knowing where to go anytime the ball is hit. And you got to credit him because he's one of the better defenders I've seen in this league so far this season.
Tyler Cannon takes a first pitch ball from Moore. Cannon had a pretty good evening out of the 8th spot last night. He scored 4 times, reached base 5 in the big win for the Oilmen. This one is away for a ball, makes it a 2-0 count. The Oilmen got productive spots out of Kyle Tyler in the 9th spot, Tyler Cannon in the 8th spot. When they've been winning games, that's what they've been doing, is getting that activity in the 1 through 9, really. This one taken for a strike. Makes it a 2-1 count. As Cannon playing right field tonight. Barrels this one up, puts it in the air towards the right center gap. This one will be playable for Fenner, and that'll be the second out of the inning as he secures the catch.
And Sean Moore relying on that pitch-to-contact style. He's been getting a lot of quick outs thus far in this inning because of that, and in that last inning as well. He's done a solid job thus far of just letting his defense go to work for him, and the Vikings have been a lot better since he's been doing that, and that philosophy has been started when he came into the game on the mound.
Sebastian Cabeza checks up on that one for strike 1. He's looking for his first appearance on base tonight. 0 for 2 so far. He's working out of the 8th spot, playing catcher this evening. This one high for a ball. Well, I'm going to have Horniman on first base. Then have back-to-back outs since he was able to reach with the single there. Cabeza is looking to try to extend the inning here with 2 tucked away. Outside, ball 2. Makes the count 2-1. Oilmen scored 2 in the first, 3 in the second. Then Southland responded with 1 in the 5th. Now the Oilmen are looking to try to get more runs on the board. Cabeza lays off that one for a ball.
That wasn't a bad idea on that last pitch right there. That fastball in the outer half, trying to get a strike there. Nice frame by Kroll. Must have just missed scoring to Mike Clay today, but he's had a solid day behind the plate thus far.
3-1, low for a ball. So Cabeza works the 2-out walk. Now bring Mike Freitas to the box here with 2 men on and 2 away here in the 5th inning. Freitas has a pair of groundouts so far, has mostly been used as a pitcher, but we've seen him bat a couple times this season. He makes decent enough contact for primarily a pitcher. He's been 125 on the season, has had 2 hits coming into the game. So it's high for a ball. You look at it as a pitcher, he grounded out twice. At least that means he's making contact. He has been striking out. He's ahead 1-0 in this count.
And that's kind of what you go up with the mentality as a pitcher. You're just trying to put the ball in play and not embarrass yourself out there, because a lot of pitchers out there, the game has shifted more towards DHing for the pitcher no matter what. Even if you are a good pitcher, a lot of times coaches will just DH for you just so you can make sure you can focus on your pitching. So the at-bats for pitchers are rare. So when you go, every time you're a pitcher and you go up to the plate, your entire mind to that entire bat is, hey, let's just not strike out on 3 pitches.
Freitas works the 3-0 count. The Oilmen are no strangers to pitchers picking up the lumber and swinging and producing as the 3-0 pitch. Swing and miss for strike 1. Jake Ostrowski provided a walk-off hit for the Oilmen against Lake County. He had 2 hits in that game and a walk. Game where he had to be used as the DH and the pitcher. It's the 3-1. Swing and a miss by Freitas makes it a full count. But that hit came in the big spot, 2-out spot on the 9th, and scored a pair of runs to make the Oilmen the winners in that game.
Hey, pitchers who rake, man.
Oh, yeah. The full count pitch. Freitas does a little bit of raking there, puts it in the gap. Around the corner comes Horniman. He's going to score. And Cabeza stays put at third base, but Mike Freitas with the RBI single there extends the inning for the Oilmen and makes the lead 6-1.
That was a pitch that Sean Moore had to throw. You didn't want to risk loading up the bases on that 3-2 pitch. Just down and away. Freitas kind of flung his hands at it, but hey, every base hit goes down as a line drive. He did right there. He put it beautifully into the gap. And how about the pitcher getting the job done in the DH spot? Big extra run there for the Oilmen.
Now Dom Curcio puts this one in the air. Third base side, calling for it is Knowles. He makes the catch. So that will end the inning after the Oilmen are able to put another run on the board, extend their lead to 6-1. The Vikings will try to answer for that when we come back for the 6th inning on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Not in cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back at Oil City Stadium as we take it to inning number 6 with Kevin Malater. Brandon Vickery back with you. Leo Staudaher is with us as well as we hit the 6th inning at beautiful Oil City Stadium. Oilmen 6 and the Vikings 1. And each team putting up 1 run in that 5th inning. There's a new pitcher on the mound for the Oilmen, and it's left-hander Mike Burness. Burness is taking over for Frank Quinn. You can close the book on him. He goes 5 innings, allows 5 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. He walked 1 and struck out 5. He exits in position for the win. First pitch from Burness is taken low for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Burness comes back 1-0, and this is high and outside. And the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. The leadoff batter in the inning is John Crowell.
And I think there's no one who's more happy that Northwest Indiana is going to the bullpen than the Southland Vikings dugout right now, just because of it's a fresh life. It really is. When a new pitcher comes in, your team, even if you're down by 15, you have hope. You're like, okay, new guy. Let's go see if we can go hit him and go attack him early. 2-1 count now if you're John Crowell. So let's see here if he's able to battle and get on board.
2-1 taken high for a ball. He fouled the 2-0 away, but now this one's high, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. The lefty Burness uses the off-speed as his go-to. His repertoire comprised of a fastball, slider, and a change. He's working on commanding the fastball and getting ahead with the fastball better as he delivers this one high for a ball, trying to become more unpredictable in his pitch sequencing over the course of this summer season. But here, he issues a leadoff walk to start his outing.
And by my count, 3 of those 4 pitches he threw that he missed were on fastballs. The one pitch he got in for a strike was a breaking ball. The other ball that was closer was a breaking ball. So kind of perfectly saying or explaining what you said there, except in motion, trying to work on that fastball. And that fastball was high and away. Clearly, it could be a release point issue.
This is low and in for a ball. He plays at St. Leo in Florida under Rick Odette, the former St. Joseph's College coach in Rensselaer. And I believe Burness's high school coach played for Odette. Here comes the 1-0. Swing and a miss. The count 1-1.
That's not a bad swing there by Crowell. A pitch kind of right over the heart of the plate, just out in front of it there. If he's able to make contact with that, that ball could have gone a long way because of it being the nature of an off-speed pitch.
Here's the 1-1. Swinging a sharp ground ball, a diving stop by Tyler. Go to second. There's one. The relay throw is wild, and they get the out at second base, but that's all. It's a fielder's choice. It goes 4-6 on the fielder's choice, and that's the first out of the inning at second base.
I think they might have just called him out at first base. They did. They're going to call the slide rule on John Crowell at second and making it a double play.
There you go. So they say that sliding into second base, Crowell interfered with the throw to first, so this actually goes as a double play. So score it 4-6-3 on a double play. And after a brief argument, play will continue. 2 outs and nobody on.
And that's just killer for any Viking momentum. You get the leadoff man aboard, a pitcher who was struggling to find the zone there. Kroll swinging at a pitch out of the zone and getting that ground ball there for the double play. And Kroll you got to focus on making sure you're to the bag and only to the bag.
This is taken low for a ball. The Oilmen are going to have a hard time turning 2 on this. Tyler kind of had to lunge toward it. He took some time to collect it and then get it to Z-Big at second base for the out. The throw to first, kind of a rush throw, I think was going to be wild regardless of the base runner. And it was going to be a tough double play to turn, but the Oilmen do get the 2 outs on the play as this is fouled out of play in the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 6-1 as we play inning number 6. Here's the 1-1. This is high for a ball, 2-1.
It just makes it more difficult for the comeback there because all momentum, as I just talked about, is gone. Now you need kind of a spark here in this inning. It's going to have to be probably a long ball because stringing together multiple 2-out hits is really tough to do.
2-1 low for a ball. The count 3 balls and 1 strike. The 3-1. 2 outs, 6-1 Oilmen. Here comes the 3-1 pitch, taken low and outside for a ball. And that's ball 4. So it's a 2-out walk, and the inning continues for A.J. Taylor. The Vikings out hitting the Oilmen 5-4, but the Oilmen lead the column that counts by a 6-1 score. Taylor singled last time. He scored a run in that 5th inning. He also grounded into a double play earlier. Now that double play on the slide rule looks even larger here. This is low for ball 1. After the walk follows it to Anderson. Instead of 2 on with 1 away, there's 1 on and 2 away. 1 ball and no strikes on Taylor. Take a look around the Northern League here in a few, perhaps in the next half inning. Here comes the 1-1 low for a ball. Wild pitch as this one skips away from the catcher Cabeza, and down to second goes Anderson. 2 balls and no strikes, 2 outs. And now a base hit could drive in a run. Here's the 2-0 pitch, swinging a tapper toward third. This is going to be fielded by Zarnacki. A throw across the diamond is not in time. It's a base hit, infield single. Good play by Zarnacki to keep this on the infield. It was slowly hit, but a tough play moving toward the foul line. He threw across the diamond late as Taylor legs out his second hit of the game. Anderson goes to third. Now Vikings at first and third with 2 down for Blaise Cano.
And you just mentioned it, that double play slide rule now kills the Vikings, because that's definitely a run there, not only on the wild pitch before that, but now that infield single there by A.J. Taylor. Now it's up to Blaise Cano to get another hit. 2-out hitting is so difficult to do in the game of baseball.
This is lifted in the air foul, and this is going to clear the area that is in play near the tarp and make its way near the Oilmen bullpen down the first base line. No balls and 1 strike. Runners take their leads from first and third. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a line drive, this is into right for a base hit. The second base area vacated. Run comes in and scores around third, trying to score all the way from first, and the throw to the plate is not in time. In motion was Taylor. He comes around and scores. 2 Vikings score on this play. Cano ends up at second base, and the Vikings have taken a bite out of the deficit. It's now 6-3.
That is the perfect execution of a hit and run right there. Brandon Taylor with great speed on the pitch. The Vikings have done that multiple times this year. And guess what? Scott Nowakowski, who is coaching third base, no hesitation whatsoever. He was waving A.J. around the entire time. Beautiful hitting there by Blaise Cano, who also snagged the extra base as well on the relay play of the plate.
Pitch low here. Yeah, originally the hit and run is what made this a base hit, because it was right where Tyler would normally be playing. With the runner in motion, Tyler had gone over to cover second base, and that allowed this to bounce its way through the right side of the infield. 1 run scored easily, and then scoring all the way from first base was Taylor. Credit 2 RBIs for Blaise Cano, and now McKenna bats with a 1 ball and 1 strike count, and the Oilmen lead is 3 at 6-3 here in the 6th. Here's the 1-1 from Burness. This is swung on and popped up foul, and this one also carries out of play, and it remains 1-2. Not sure if Cano ever...
He never stopped. He never stopped. He was going no matter what. And I think he was hoping that he could maybe draw the throw to second, that if he was out, he was hoping that Taylor would score, so the run would have scored no matter what, even if the out was recorded at second.
This is high and in for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two-run score a moment ago. Cano now 7 RBIs on the season. That's his first hit of the game after he had struck out twice. And this is going to be low for a ball, and the runner's going to advance to third on a wild pitch. Fies is pinch hitting here. We saw him play on Monday against the Oilmen, so I beg your pardon. Fies is batting in place of McKenna.
Yeah, and Fies is just trying to get something going right now. Enters this contest with just 1 RBI in the season. Runner on third. He'd love to drive it in. He'd love to make it a 2-run ball game right now and try to break a slump he's in.
This is swung on and fisted in the air foul, and it remains full at 3-2. Big spot here. The Oilmen trying to keep the 3-run lead. The Vikings have already rallied. And last night, the Oilmen had a sizable lead, and then the Giants rallied against the Oilmen bullpen to cut the lead to 3. That was before the Oilmen exploded for 7 to break it wide open again. Here's the 3-2. This is in for ball 4, and this gets away, and sprinting toward the plate and scoring from third is going to be Cano. A pass ball. It gets by Cabeza, and coming in to score on the play is Cano. Ball 4 to Fies, and the Oilmen have allowed 3 in this 6th. It's now 6-4 Oilmen lead.
And Nick Weiss is probably out there thinking, even though he's not getting credit with the RBI, hey, can I get credit for the RBI there? I was up to bat when that pass ball happened. Now an even bigger spot here for the Southland Vikings. Chris McDevitt comes in to pinch hit here. He's been out for the past couple days after going underneath a surgery on Tuesday. He's back. He's in a pinch hitting spot here. This is an opportunity for the Vikings to really try to do some damage here with one of their top hitters finally back in the lineup.
Chris McDevitt will pinch hit for Southland, as you mentioned. McDevitt will bat in the place of Knowles as they try to extend the 2-out rally here in the 6th. This is low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Good to have you with us on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network, and there have been so many close games across the league this season. We knew there might be some drama, and the Vikings have clawed their way back in the game here in this middle part of the contest as Burness fires a strike, and it's 1-1.
And this is also kind of an intimidating move here by Nowakowski on Enright, and the pitcher, I'll hold here.
1-1, low and outside, 2-1, Kevin.
Just because of the fact that now, hey, look, guess who's back? The reigning hitter of the week in the Northern League, and we're going to put him in this spot here where we think we could potentially get another run to make this a 1-run game, potentially tie the game if McDevitt's able to get a good piece of lumber on it.
2-1 swing and a miss. He took a healthy hack there, and now the count 2-2.
He really wanted that one right there. He loves sitting that one pitch kind of middle out. And that's what he got right there, just was unable to get it.
Runner goes 2-2, high and in for ball 3. Throw to second. It bounces in there. It's a stolen base. Fies steals second, and now a base hit could drive in a run.
This is a really interesting scenario. 3 balls, 2 strikes. McDevitt very picky about what pitches he swings at, which often sometimes will lead to him striking out looking. He can't afford to do that here with 2 outs. He's got the top of his order on deck as well, so he needs to find a way to fight off a tough pitch and get another one.
Backing away, here's McDevitt as the wind picked up briefly. 3-2. Big full count pitch coming up from Burness. Here's his payoff. This is low for ball 4, blocked by Cabeza. McDevitt draws the base on balls. Back-to-back walks. 4 walks in this inning issued by Burness, and here comes Adam Enright.
And this is the right time to make the meeting right now. I don't know if he's yet to signal to that bullpen yet, but this is the time where you at least want to have that conference for sure, just to try to reset things. And this is supposed to be a conference. Hey, you got 2 outs. 1 more here. All you need, ground ball, fly ball. You're out of this inning. We still have a lead, and guess what? We get to go hit now, but Adam Enright seems to be making the move here.
Yeah, he's going to go to the bullpen. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll tell you about the new Oilmen pitcher after this. It's Oilmen 6, Vikings 4, but the lead's precarious in the 6th on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Back at Oil City Stadium, we've hit the 9 o'clock hour on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network, AM 1230 WJOB, Region Sports, JED TV, and the Oilmen Facebook page. Brandon Vickery, Kevin Malatier, as we bring you the Oilmen and the Southland Vikings here this evening, and the Oilmen are finding themselves in a little bit of a tight spot, Kevin, as it's now a 6-4 ball game. They've gone to the bullpen, and they brought in Jack Nekras.
This is going to be the biggest at-bat of this contest. If Kyle Fenner somehow reaches or gets a base knock, it's either a one-run game. And for Nekras, you can't afford to be wild because then all of a sudden you put two guys in scoring position versus the one you have right now. This is going to be the most important at-bat of the game thus far, and it comes to the hottest bat on this Vikings team, perhaps at least this week, in Kyle Fenner.
Fenner standing in. He's the 8th man to bat in this inning, and he takes a strike. The count 0-1. A bit of a wild outing from Burness. That was the difference earlier in the game. The Oilmen threw more strikes than the Vikings did, but that changed when Burness came in and issued 4 walks, all in this inning. He goes 2/3 of an inning. Here's the 0-1. Low and outside for a ball. 2 hits. So far, 3 runs they're earned, and he's responsible for the 2 runners on base. And again, the 4 walks. He struck out none. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swinging a foul at the plate. The count 1-2. One and two, 2 outs. Runners take their leads at first and second. And this is swung on and cued foul out of play.
What a great job there by Fenner. That's a pitch that no batter has any business making contact with, and he was able to fight it off and gets to see another pitch right now. That's part of his great at-bat and great approach at the plate. He just fights off whatever he sees so he can finally get his pitch.
1-2 on Fenner. Runners take their leads from first and second. Here's the 1-2. Taken high for a ball. We go even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nekras entering the ball game in a tight spot here, trying to work out of this jam. Nekras, 4-seamer, 2-seamer, sinker, splitter, and a cutter, comprising his repertoire. Here's the 2-2. Low for a ball. And it's taken for strike 3 called. Mike Clare rung him up, and the inning ends. It was in the lower portion of the zone, and out on strikes is Fenner as the Vikings settle for the 3 runs in that inning. They do it with the benefit of 4 walks. They had 2 hits, and they strand 2. We've played 5.5, Oilmen 6, and the Vikings 4 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back at Oil City Stadium, Brandon Vickery, Kevin Malater, Leo Staudaher, as we get you set for the bottom of inning number 6, 6-4 in favor of the Oilmen. And Kevin, the Vikings are back in this game. They scored once in the 5th and now 3 times in the 6th inning, and a lot of it because of the wildness of Burness, but they got some hits in that inning as well.
This was the Southland Vikings team we saw over the past probably week if you start from this past Tuesday. A team that was very disciplined at the plate, put a lot of balls in place when they had to, and they got lots of runs across. They showed why they were the hottest team in the league at one point as of a couple of days ago, and they showed why they were a team that's now tied in second place.
Everything under the lights in the Northern League tonight as David Marshall leads off this inning. Lefty on lefty. First pitch ground ball up the middle. It has eyes. It's going to be a base hit through the center of the diamond. The 4th time reaching base for Marshall today. He has walked twice, been hit by a pitch, and now he notches his first hit of the day, and it comes to lead off the 6th inning.
On-base percentage skyrocketing here. And he just had a lot of just simple approaches. He didn't see a strike in those first 2 at-bats, so really nothing doing there. Then the base on ball again in that 4th inning, and then the single. So great job by him.
Now it's Kyle Tyler standing in next. First pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. The Oilmen, again, a slight edge in the all-time series. 50 wins for the Oilmen, 47 for the Southland Vikings. Here's the 0-1, taken for a strike. But when you've played 98 times, this is the 98th matchup, that's pretty tight to be within 3 wins of each other.
Yeah, and that can change over the course of the season. These two teams, this is only matchup number 2. They'll see each other 9 more times after tonight.
Here's a snap throw to first, not in time. The pitch was high and outside, 1-2 on Tyler as Marshall dives back in, Kevin.
It's only going to change from there. It'll be fun to kind of go back and forth and watch this all-time record kind of go on a little seesaw there throughout the course of the season, and then you get to look back at the rest of the season and at the end of it and get bragging rights.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tyler has struck out for the 3rd time in the game. There's 1 away and 1 on for Jack Ziebig. The season series was a 4-4 deadlock in the regular season a year ago, but then the Oilmen winning both postseason matchups. First pitch to Ziebig is strike 1 call. But everything under the lights of the Northern League. I'll get you the scores here in just a moment. Here comes the 0-1. This is low, and now trying to advance to second base and doing so safely on a wild pitch is Marshall. Marshall takes second. Now a base hit could add to the Oilman lead.
That's a big insurance for that stands on the second base now, and I don't want to over-exaggerate, but it really is. It's a 2-run game right now. Southland seem to find themselves offensively in the last half inning. You cannot afford,
This is high for a ball, wild pitch, and now taking third is Marshall. Back-to-back wild pitches, and now there's any number of ways the Oilmen could drive in the run. We'll see how the Vikings play the infield here with 1 away and a runner at third. It appears that they will keep the infield back, conceding that run on a ground ball. Here comes the 2-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air. Will it be deep enough? Fenner is under it. He's going to make the catch. And tagging at third is Marshall. Here comes the throw toward home. He is going to go in standing up just ahead of the tag of the catcher Kroll. And the Oilmen have added to the lead. It's a sacrifice fly for Jack Ziebig, his 11th RBI of the season. And the Oilmen add to the cushion. It's now a 7-4 ballgame. They're going to appeal the third here. And they wanted to see if he left early, I think, but he did not. And it remains 7-4 Oilmen. Horniman with 2 outs and the base is clear. Will take low and outside for ball 1. And working quickly, the next pitch inside for a ball. Count 2-0. Moore, a quick worker. High-scoring game between the Generals and the Giants tonight. 20 runs between the two teams, and they're only in the 5th inning. Here's the 2-0. This is a line drive to right. It's going to hang up there for the right fielder, and that brings the inning to a close. Bilicki made the catch, but the Oilmen do get a run on 1 hit and leave none. We'll tell you the scores when we come back. It's the Oilmen 7 and the Vikings 4 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Back at Oil City Stadium as we move along, the Oilmen add to the lead with an insurance run in the bottom of that 6th inning to stymie some of the momentum of the Vikings, but they've been surging offensively. So this is a big frame. We'll see if Nekraz can go out and work a quick inning as the Oilman bullpen has been touched for a few runs here, including 3 in that 6th.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge for him because he's got George Bilicki, who's a good power hitter on this Vikings team. Then he has to face 2 guys he hasn't seen yet today and will be making their first plate appearances of the contest.
First pitcher is swung on and lifted to right center. This is going to be a base hit, and it's going to be extra bases for Bilicki. He's cruising toward third as he rounds second and is digging for 3. The throw will not be made. It's a leadoff triple to begin the 7th inning, and now the Vikings will have a runner on third base here as Trevino is going to come to the plate for the first time.
And I will tell you, that ball was absolutely launched to right center field, deepest part of the ballpark here at Oil City, and he got it down to the wall, maybe just a couple of hops or so. That was an impressive piece of hitting there by George Bilicki. Now Julio Trevino, a good fastball hitter, is up to the plate right now. An opportunity for Southland to get that run back.
Julio Trevino swings and fouls the first pitch into the mitt. And it's 0-1. Here's a line drive snatched by Nekraz. Throw to third. It's a wild throw. And now going back to third base and then missing the base. Now going back to the base again and holding there is Bilicki. A bizarre play. This was a hot smash back to the mound. Nekraz made an excellent catch. And he threw to third. Easily doubled up was Bilicki. He froze, conceding that he was doubled up, and the throw was wild to third. There was plenty of time for him to go to the base and then score, but he didn't make it all the way back to the base, and then he headed toward the plate, and then he had to go back to third, and then he stayed there.
I think it's because he stumbled. He tried to reaching for the bag and tried doing it quickly enough. He kind of slipped, missed that bag, started going. Scott Nowakowski at third's yelling, go back, go back, go back. A disastrous play there for George Bilicki in terms of his sense. He thinks he should be at home right now, and it's a 7-5 game. And so now he has to wait for the Vikings to produce another run here.
Now Malley is into the game. Malley grounds one toward third, and a run will score. The throw to first is in time. Give Malley an RBI. It's the second out of the inning. Coming in to score is Bilicki. And now there's a run on the board for the Vikings in the 7th inning as they've gotten that run right back. The lead is 2 again. It's Oilmen 7 and the Vikings 5 as Logan Anderson will bat with 2 outs and the base is clear.
Well, looks like the base running gap doesn't come back to bite him, and I guess it doesn't matter anyways, but what a chaotic sequence there that we just witnessed.
Here's a bouncing ball toward third. This is fielded by Zarnacki, and the throw to first is in time. Well, it was a quick inning, but there was a run that scored in there. No, 1 run, 1 hit, and nobody left on base. It's time to stretch at the OC. Oilmen 7, Vikings 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
It's just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back at Oil City Stadium, where there is a new pitcher on the mound as the Vikings have gone to Jack West as he takes over to work this bottom of the 7th inning. West is in for Southland. In bizarre inning, the Vikings get a run in that 7th. Nekraz simultaneously on one play made an excellent snag to catch this line drive. And it doesn't count as an error because there was no advancement. You can't charge an error there, but it was a wild throw, and there was an out easily to be had at third base, as it should have been a double play.
It should have been. That might be one of the more bizarre sequences but you might see this season. Granted, we're only in June, so there could be another one later on in the season. But I love that sequence in general because it just showed how passionate the fans got in this ballpark. Yeah, the Vikings fans, probably the largest group of Vikings fans that have been at any road games here, combined with the great fans of the Oilmen on the other side. It was fun hearing them cheering back and forth, and just the chaos of that as well was my favorite part of that play. It's what makes baseball so much fun and what makes this environment such a fun environment to be in, Brandon.
Moore goes 3 innings, Kevin, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, 2 walks, and struck out 3. And West will take over on the mound to work this inning for the Southland Vikings. And the Vikings get a run. But, yeah, it was one of those plays where it was no, yes, all in one play. And it's 7-5 in favor of the Oilmen as the Vikings do end up getting that run later in the inning. Kyle Zarnacki will lead off the 7th. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for Northwest Indiana as they try to expand a 2-run lead. They're leading despite being out-hit by an 8-5 count. This is taken low and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. 7-5 in favor of the Oilmen. Here's the 1-0, taken high and outside. We've teased the other scores. I guess we'll catch you up on those now. The latest update here, bottom of the 6th inning, Generals 12 and the Giants 8. Again, everything across the league under the lights here tonight. The 2-0 is behind him, and it's 3-0. And elsewhere, the Panthers and Corn Dogs have a good one going. It's Crestwood 2, Lake County 2 in the top of the 8th in Crown Point. The Corn Dogs, I believe, have still only lost the 1 home game all season.
Yeah, credit to Crestwood for keeping in this ball game. They were having trouble pitching earlier in this week. They had to shorten some games due to some pitching errors. Not necessarily pitching errors, I should say, but lack of pitching arms available for them throughout the course of the week. And to be in a game on the road, Lake County is not an easy place to play whatsoever, especially underneath the lights. It's a tough environment to be in. So credit to them for sticking in that ball game and sticking in with the best team in the league.
Kyle Zarnacki draws a base on balls here. A quick walk issued by West. And now it's Tyler Famacanon. 7-5 Oilmen in the 7th. Oilmen have committed 3 errors tonight. They're being out-hit 8-5, but they still lead 7-5. Here's a strike in the count 0-1. And a lot of that is the walks issued by the Southland pitching staff. The Viking pitchers have issued 9 walks, and they have also, here the 0-1, runner goes, pitch is grounded toward third. The throw is going to go to first base and be dug out at first by Trevino. It's in time. McDevitt makes the play at third, 5-3 on the putout. Famacanon is out number 1. Zarnacki advances to second base. Runner at second, 1 away.
Smart play there by McDevitt. He realized that he probably wasn't going to get the runner going for second, Zarnacki, so he takes the sure out first base. Sure, the throw was low, but Trevino, a solid defensive first baseman, doesn't have the height advantage, but he's got great hands, and he's able to pick those balls out really easily at first. So a nice play there at him by 4-0 in black.
But 9 walks and 3 hit batters for the Viking pitching staff today. Here's a strike on the count 0-1. Oilmen lead at 7-5. This is a battle for second place, and there's a real opportunity with the Corn Dogs tied late in their game against Crestwood to possibly make up ground for first as well. Here's the 0-1. This is high for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, exactly. Both teams right now sitting 4 games back of Lake County. Winner of this game wins. Lake County loses. That deficit falls to 3. Lake County will play Southland tomorrow night. Southland and Lake County have played tons of close games this year. That could go either way. All of a sudden, that deficit could become 2, 2.5 maybe, depending on the results of tomorrow night. So, yeah, this is a big game, and the Crestwood-Lake County game is also equally as big.
Runner goes, pitches, ball 2, throw to third is in time. Out at third base is Zarnacki as he barrels into third. He was out easily, and the throw was in time to cut him down.
I'm going to be honest. I understand the reason because you're trying to take that extra base and try to hope that a wild pitch would score on the run, but not the best jump there by Zarnacki. Malley with a really strong arm, and he was cooked, unfortunately, at third base for him.
It was a 2-1 taken for strike 2 call, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And just like that, 2 pitches later, you're a strike away from having the inning ended with nothing to show for it, despite getting the leadoff walk.
Oilmen did successfully put pressure on the Giants' defense yesterday, very aggressive on the base paths, and it paid off. Here's a 2-2 taken for ball 3. It's that balance between not wanting to be too aggressive, but being aggressive enough.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand the reason behind going 100%, but just a poorly timed jump there. And also, that was the first time Malley has thrown down to a base today, and he was on the receiving end of a great toss by Malley behind the dish.
Payoff pitch is low and outside for ball 4. Second walk of the inning now, but again, just a runner on first with 2 outs thanks to the caught stealing. And Mike Freitas, a two-way player who has mostly been a pitcher, but he does have the ability to swing the stick and play first base, and he's a DH today. A lot different than when Jake Ostrowski was batting for the first time in several years and hadn't batted regularly since he was a kid.
The Vikings have had 2 of those cases this year. It was funny in both occasions.
Here's a strike, Kevin.
The first one came back on June the 3rd. Vikings were in Chicago. Were limited on guys due to it was a last-second schedule change. Times changed, and that happened. And so they were limited on guys that day. And so they put the pitcher, Sean Moore, who also is an outfielder when he doesn't pitch, into the lineup card. His replacement out of the bullpen was Brett Smith, who had to bat eventually in that game. It was his first at-bat since 2014, he told me, in a competitive game.
Yeah.
2 RBI single to give the Vikings the lead.
There you go. And Ostrowski, here's the runner goes, pitch high for a ball, throw to second base, not in time. This goes into center field. It's a stolen base. Holding it second is Cabeza. The catcher in motion there as Cabeza swipes it back.
Don't see that often, do you?
No.
Catcher stealing. I mean, shades of Wilson Contreras, maybe his rookie year, his second season, when the speed was a bigger aspect of his game than it is now. Now that he's trying to protect himself and protect his body, and rightfully so, he's one of, if not the best catcher in the game of baseball right now. There's no bias there either.
2-1 on Freitas. This is high for a ball, trying to up his trade value with your praise, in case any general managers are listening.
Oh, I'm sure there are people listening to this right now who have the powers of acquiring Wilson Contreras in a trade.
3-1 on Freitas. And if so, they're going to really take a lot of stock in what we say. Here comes the 3-1. Swing and a miss. The count goes full at 3-2.
If you're a Cubs fan, you probably want us to talk them down right now if they're listening. But we're not going to do that because we are journalists.
I just report the facts.
Exactly.
I say that all the time.
Exactly.
Here's the payoff pitch with 2 outs. On the way. Swinging a check swing, high bounce to the left side. This is picked up and thrown to first by McDevitt in time, and the inning ends. The Oilmen, no runs, no hits, and 1 left. We've played 7. Oilmen 7, Vikings 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back at Oil City Stadium, beautiful night, some between-inning games taking place. Lucky the Unicorn and Squeakers the Mouse were racing, and Lucky won that race between innings. We're happy to report. We'll see if it leads to good luck for the Oilmen as they lead this ball game by a 7-5 score as we hit the 8th inning.
Can I say this? I think there was foul play in that race.
You're protesting? You're filing
I'm
a protest?
filing a protest of this race because Squeakers had a human being distracting him with cheese.
Taylor swings and grounds it to short. Z-Big fields it and throws to first in time. One pitch, one away here in the 8th, and that'll bring up Cano. So how exactly do you plan to go about this protest?
Well, there's a great tool called social media.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hashtag justice for Squeakers, everybody.
You're going to ask Leo Staudaher to clip the video for you so you can post it out there on the social media world. One out and the base is clear. Squeakers was distracted by some cheese, but this is low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. But I thought Lucky was out to a good lead.
Lucky cut a corner, too.
This is high and outside for a ball. It was a great win for Lucky. 2 balls and no strikes the count.
We need Mike and George to umpire the race between Lucky and Squeakers next time out.
This is low and in for a ball, 3 balls and no strikes. Yeah, Squeakers the Mouse just couldn't quite stay locked in enough to bring home the win against Lucky the Unicorn. The 3-0 is high for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk, a 1-out walk here in the 8th. 7-5 Oilmen at 1 on, 1 away for Fies.
And sometimes the biggest part of the game is the mental aspect of the game. And unfortunately, it was not Squeakers' day. But the protest is still coming, Brandon. Just letting you know that now. And Leo, get ready.
So you're taking to social media for this. Did you lose some money on this this race? Did you have a lot riding on it?
Yeah.
See, this is and a balk has been called. Being awarded second base on a balk. Here's Cano.
Well, now things are really interesting here. And now I'm talking about the game because now you have the tying run at the plate, the 1-run game runner in Cano on second, and he's got phenomenal speed in less than 2 outs. And you have Chris McDevitt on deck.
Fies takes a strike, and the count 0-1.
And you don't see a balk before the first pitch. And also, Nikras has had multiple runners on base, and he hadn't seemed to be rushing his delivery whatsoever. That time, as George Hilbert had the call and thought he broke too early or he didn't stop himself enough.
George was right on top of it. This is taken for a ball. Count 1-1. We had him behind the plate for a game earlier this season against the Panthers at Marion Catholic, and he made the call there on the balk, moving the runner into scoring position. I'll tell you what, this is the 1-1 taken for a strike. Not the best at deciphering what exactly occurred on a balk a lot of times. Was there anything you saw there?
Well, I think what I saw is I saw his front leg kind of stutter there because he wanted to go too quick. He started and then realized that he never really came set. And that's what catches a lot of pitchers off guard.
1-2 here is swung on and lifted high in the air. Coming in, Horniman, the left fielder in foul territory on the run, makes the catch. Nice play by Horniman, who has played a little bit of outfield, but a lot behind the plate as well. He's able to make that catch in foul territory for the second out of the inning, holding it second Cano.
Big second out right there. Challenge here with Chris McDevitt, who walked in his last at bat, but just big momentum right there because you still have Cano at second. Cano possibly could have taken third had he gone to attack sooner, but he was halfway down the line, realized that Horniman was probably going to make the catch, had to scurry back to second. By the time that ball was caught, he was going to be thrown out easily at third had he tried to take it.
Here's a strike call in the count 0-1 on McDevitt. Oilmen 7, Vikings 5. We're in the 8th inning at Oil City Stadium. A great long-standing matchup between two teams that have been in the league longer than anybody else. Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and sent to left. Back on it is Horniman. He makes the catch shy of the track, and the inning ends. Well, the Vikings got a few balls with good wood on it, but Horniman catches both of them, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, and 1 left for Southland in the 8th. We have played 7.5. Oilmen 7, Vikings 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Back at Oil City Stadium where there's a new pitcher on the mound, and it's Zach Costello, 7-5 Oilmen. You can close the book on Jack West. West goes 1 inning, no hits, no runs. He walked 2, but struck out none, and again, did not allow a run. And now it's the distinctive Costello into pitch, and he has one of the more unique deliveries, Kevin, in all of the Northern League.
He hides the ball so incredibly well. You can't see it whatsoever, whether you're a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter. When we sit at Nowling Park for those games, you can sit right behind home plate, and you cannot see that ball until it's already out of his hands, and then you have even less time to react to that pitch. He gets a lot of weak contact because of it. He also gets a decent amount of strikeouts, too, even though the numbers aren't necessarily the best in his favor in that department is the 4 strikeouts, but those strikeout numbers have become better over recent. He's focused less on walking hitters as well.
It'll be the top of the order to begin the 8th inning for the Oilmen. Curcio, Marshall, and Tyler due up. Mike Clay will take his position behind home plate, and we'll be ready for baseball here in the bottom of the 8th. Again, the Oilmen will have Bark in the park night tomorrow night. It will close out this 3-game homestand. The Oilmen will be off on Sunday. They will visit the Vikings on Monday, and then they'll return home for a big week of home games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 straight games at Oil City Stadium starting on Tuesday night. This is outside for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Both teams 2 games above 500, I should say, coming into play today. And this makes it a big battle for second place in the Northern League. And as I was saying in the last inning, the 1-0 from Costello is a strike. Both teams, long-standing members of the league. The Vikings have been part of the league since its inception in 2010, and the Oilmen came on board in 2012. Here's the 1-1. Taken for a strike, and the count 1-2.
And it's fun when you get these rivalries, and even though it's not as big a scale as Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs, Cardinals, or Giants, Dodgers, it has that same kind of feel. Both these teams don't like each other. The players who have been on these teams for quite a while, they know the history and they know the disdain for one another.
Here's the 1-2, taken inside for a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Duke and North Carolina.
Exactly.
PlayStation and Xbox. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Squeakers and Lucky.
Yes, another great rivalry. Here comes the 2-2. This is taken outside for a ball. We go full at 3-2. Take a look at some this date in Oilman history here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It was on this date in 2015. Here's the 3-2. It's outside for ball 4. A walk to begin the bottom of the 8th. That's the 4th time today that Curcio alone has walked as he leads off the 8th with a base on balls. This date in 2015, the Oilmen beat the Joliet Admirals by a score of 1-0. Keith Mailer was scratched. He unfortunately had an eye infection. Was not able to pitch that night. So Jimmy Skiff, the Purdue Northwest pitcher, an Andrean graduate, found out at about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon that he was pressed into emergency duty to start for the Oilmen, and he goes 7 shutout innings in a 1-0 win over the Admirals. This is bunted and fouled, and the count 0-1. It's always something when you're pressed into duty at the last minute.
And I've noticed either through playing with guys or being on the end of getting the emergency start, you actually pitch better, or at least sometimes you actually might pitch better than you normally are, or at least where your standards are, because of you're not overthinking everything. A lot of times pitchers have a tendency to overthink their starts. Okay, hey, what am I going to do in certain counts? How am I going to attack their right-handed and left-handed hitters? You don't have to worry about that when you fly down on 2-3 hours notice. You just got to go out and throw and be yourself. And a lot of times pitchers thrive when they're in that role because they're not overthinking the entire situation.
Here comes the 0-1 to Marshall. This is on the inner corner for a strike, and it's 0-2. A year ago, the Oilmen actually had a pitcher get injured warming up down in the bullpen prior to the game and had to call for a last-minute scratch. But in this case, on this date back in 2015, at least there was a few hours of notice. And it turned into a great start for Skiff. Runner goes, 2-strike pitch outside for a ball, and they're not even going to throw down. Easy stolen base for Dom Curcio. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 7-5 Oilmen. Jordan Lewis and Fred Smart both had outfield assists in that 1-0 win. When you're protecting a 1-0 lead and you can throw out base runners on strong throws from the outfield, that's important. Jordan Lewis, very a character, I guess I would say, a guy who played at Purdue. And then Fred Smart, I've mentioned this about once a year on the air, but he runs a very popular Cubs fan Twitter account, kind of anonymously. Here comes the 1-2, high and outside for a ball. And he's known as Dom Fred. Former Oilman is Dom Fred. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count.
The great director of morale.
Yes.
Yeah, have you tried the coffee from him?
I have not. Ian Happ has coffee as well. Those kind of competitors, kind of like Xbox and PlayStation. This is high for a ball. Count goes full at 3-2.
That makes 2 of us, and then we haven't tried it.
Yeah. Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts.
List keeps on going.
Fred Smart and Ian Happ with their coffee brands. Dom Fred, I guess I should call him.
Aren't they friends, though?
3-2. I'm not really sure. Here comes the payoff pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air to left. Coming in is Fies. Now he comes in and makes the catch for out number 1. He was battling the lights, and he raced in and caught it, and that's the first out of the 8th inning.
That's actually really tricky to do, is battle the lights. That's not a lot of people think about that when you're playing the game of baseball. And there's several parks that teams play at where that ball goes above the lights. You cannot see it until it reappears below the lights. It's a scary thought as an outfielder because you can be hit in the face. I have experience with that. And yeah, but it's a great play by Fies because he fought the lights, camped it the entire way. Most importantly, though, he was in well enough and made that grab and was ready to throw it that the runner couldn't go to third.
Runner goes pitch high for a ball, throw to third. Never going to get him. Great jump for Curcio, and he steals third base. Castillo's a guy that you can get a good jump against when he's on the mound. He stole this one entirely on Castillo, not on Malley, the catcher.
Now a fly ball or pretty much any ball in the outfield is going to bring in the run. That's going to be a 3-run ball game. This is a big opportunity here for Tyler.
Castillo's pitch is inside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. Oilmen trying to add to the lead. They lead at 7-5. It was on this date in 2016. They prevailed 7-6, walking off the DuPage County Hounds. Tommy Shajazny with the walk-off single. Here's a single to left. Speaking of hits, this one drives in a run. Trotting home to score is Curcio and trying for second base. And now the throw to second's wild. This counts as a double for Tyler. He could have been gunned down easily at second base, but the throw goes wild. Scored a double as he went for 2 all the way. Curcio comes in and scores. There's a perfect example. Aggressive base running, putting pressure on the opposing defense.
Yeah, and he was also the beneficiary of Taylor playing in, trying to cheat towards the plate. If that ball was on the ground towards him and the runner was coming home, he was going to try to probably go to the plate with that. That's kind of the position he was at. If he plays a little bit deeper, maybe Taylor goes out and tries to make that grab, or maybe he does make that grab, and we have a play at the plate. But instead, Tyler, good piece of hitting, finds the open land and gives the Oilmen a big 3-run lead here.
Yeah, it's now 8-5 as Z-Big stands in. Tyler runs, pitch a strike, throw to third. It will not be made. As the ball kind of skipped away from Malley, the catcher. This is a stolen base. We saw Tyler with a similar double last night, very similar last night when he had a hustle double in, I believe, the first inning. He had 2 doubles in the game. It was definitely the first one he had in the contest. This is swung on and lifted to right. Back on it is Balicki. He's going to make the catch, and this will be plenty deep enough to score Tyler. He tags and scores on the play, and that makes it a 9-5 ball game. Jack Zebig gets credit for the sac fly. That's his second of the day and his 3rd RBI as he flies to right for the second out of the inning. And he now has 12 runs batted in on the year, and the Oilmen now have a 4-run lead.
That could potentially have just put this ball game away right here in the Oilmen favor. 4-run advantage now. Granted, the Vikings are at the top of their order up, but they've been struggling to get things going against Nisak right there on the mound for the Oilmen. So that 4 runs could be insurmountable for this Viking team.
1 ball, no strikes on Horniman. Here's the 1-0. Outside for a ball, 2-0. But Tommy Shajazny had the walk-off hit in the 11th inning to beat the DuPage County Hounds in 2016 on this date. in 2018. It was a franchise record 8th straight win as the Oilmen beat these Vikings by a 9-3 score. Here's the 2-0. This is swung on and looped to right. This ball is going to be caught on the run by the right fielder Bilicki, and the inning ends. But not before the Oilmen tack on. They get 2 runs on 1 hit and leave none. We go to inning number 9. I know you won't go anywhere. Oilmen 9, Vikings 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
It's just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back for the 9th inning and trying to nail it down is Mike Freitas. It's now a non-save situation thanks to the 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th. The Oilmen have expanded the lead to 4. Freitas, who is the designated hitter, comes in to pitch here. You can close the book on Nekraz, who did a nice job over his 2 1/3 innings. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, just ones across the board, and a solid job for Nekraz in relief. Let's run it down. The Oilmen are trying to improve to 13-10 and get to 3 above 500 if they can hold on in this inning. The Vikings are trying to avoid seeing their record slip to 11-10 on the season. The starters are the pitchers of record. Quinn is in position to get the win, and Josh Ladilas is on the hook for the defeat here if this score holds, with the Oilmen leading at 9-5 with 3 outs left to get here in the 9th inning, as Freitas still completing his warm-up tosses. And soon we'll have the final inning here at Oil City Stadium. The Vikings will have the top of the order. Fenner will lead off this inning in just a moment, and the Vikings will try to claw their way back into the game, but 2 big insurance runs, Kevin, in the bottom of the 8th.
And as I said, it could be an insurmountable lead here for this Viking team. The top of the order, who has been solid those past couple of games, has really struggled here tonight. Fenner, 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. Bilicki just with a triple, but he's 0 for besides that triple. And Julio Trevino had that hard line drive just right back at the pitcher on that wild play with Bilicki at third. It's been a rough going for them. They need to find something here. They need to dig deep here because they don't want to make it 3 straight losses before they have to go to Crown Point on the road tomorrow.
Fenner stands in and takes low for a ball. Oilmen 9 runs, 6 hits, and 3 errors. The Vikings 5-8-0. The Vikings out hitting the Oilmen 8-6. They've played errorless ball, have the Vikings, but they trail the column that counts. It's 9-5 Oilmen. This is ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes as Freitas falls behind.
And if Fenner is able to reach, he has to be very smart on the base paths because now you're not in a position where you can wager outs for runs. Just the map doesn't check out there as he takes a strike on the inside corner.
Yeah, Freitas has been very effective. His ERA at 0.75. This is his 9th game all in relief. He's worked 12 innings, 1 save, 13 strikeouts, 4 walks. Opponents hitting 125 against him. Here's the 2-1. This is inside for a ball, 3 balls and a strike.
The one benefit that the Vikings have had, they've been in this position before in 4 runs, down 4 runs in the final inning of play. June 16th against the Giants, they were down 10-6 going into the bottom of the 7th inning. They rattled off 5 to walk off the game on an error.
3-1 grounded foul, Kevin, 3-2.
And they were all kind of amazed and stunned, and they realized this was part of that 6-game winning streak, and they were like, hey, we're confident we can do this again at some point. That's where the one part of, I think, a lot of Viking fans still have hope. It's a 4-run game. They've been in this position before just 8 days ago.
3-2. Leadoff man always big. Here's the payoff pitch. taken for strike 3 call, and Fenner doesn't like it. He's out on strikes as the Oilmen toss it around the horn. There's one away in the ninth.
I see where Fenner's coming from. Mike Clay hasn't given that low inside corner on the right-handed hitters for the majority of the night, and I think he's more frustrated the fact that was called in the ninth inning compared to a couple innings ago when it wasn't called. Back-to-back looking strikeouts, but Freitas does a nice job just battling back in that bat. Fell behind 3-1, got Fenner to swing at a pitch down and away, and he fouled it off, and then that 3-2 fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Now it's Galicki taking a strike in the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. 9-5. This is swung on and fouled. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes. The repertoire here for Freitas, 4-seamer, sinker, curve change. He says he's working on a slider as well. Oilmen trying to hold on to a 4-run lead in the ninth inning. It's been a story of which team can display better control on the mound, really. 0-2, and batter backs away here. As again, the Oilmen being out hit, but the free passes have cost the Vikings tonight. Vikings have done everything else a little bit better, but too many free passes. Tyler leads the Oilmen with 2 hits tonight. This is taken for a ball, 1 ball, and 2 strikes. In the part where the Vikings got back in the game, that was against Burness, who walked 4 in his 2/3 of an inning. But the rest of the Oilmen pitching staff has walked just 2 in the other. It'll be 8 1/3 if they finish this. So right now it's 7 and 2. The other 7 2/3. The Oilmen have walked 2. Here's the 1-2. It's a ground ball toward short. Z-Big comes in on it. He gobbles this up. He throws to first in time. And the Oilmen are 1 out away from a victory here tonight at Oil City Stadium.
And to your point about the walks, if you take away those first 2 innings of the ball game, the Vikings win the contest based off how they performed through innings 3 through now 9. Played a lot more complete baseball in terms on the offensive side. The defensive side limited the errors and they limited the walks, and they forced the Oilmen pitching staff to work in several key situations. Just the walks, once again, have been a big factor this week in determining these games for the Vikings, and they haven't been on the positive side of any of them.
Julio Trevino swings and comes up empty in the count 0-1. Freitas has sent down the first 2 men he has faced. The Oilmen lead Southland by a 9-5 score. We're in the 9th inning at Oil City Stadium. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a crack to right. This ball is near the line, and it's going to land foul. Foul ball. 0-2. The Oilmen are 1 strike away. Trevino, the only thing standing between Mike Freitas and the Oilmen getting to 13-10 and sole possession of second place in the Northern League standings. Please stay tuned after this one, of course. Leo will have it for you on the post-game show. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Leo might have an update on the Corn Dogs and Panthers as well on the post-game. They're in extra innings, we understand. Right now tied at 2 in the 10th. Here's the 2-strike pitch. And look out, this is behind him, and it hits his bat. And it's a foul ball.
I have only ever seen that in like a T-ball game. I have never seen that at the collegiate level. And Trevino had a good laugh about it too, because it's funny. You don't see that often. It's the lighter side of baseball, and now Freitas gets lucky there. He gets a strike and not a ball.
Here's the 0-2, a check swing, and Mike Clay says he went around. It's strike 3, and that's the way this one comes to a close. The Vikings go 1-2-3 in the 9th, and the Oilmen have won the ball game. They beat the Southland Vikings by a score of 9-5. The Oilmen up their record to 13-10. The Vikings see their slip to 11-10. I want to thank everybody involved in our broadcast. Leo Staudaher, job well done. Ben Slack helping us out as well. For Kevin Malater, Branovic is saying, I hope you enjoyed, and please stay tuned. Leo's postgame show is coming up next. Once again, the final, the Oilmen 9, the Vikings 5. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. It'll be a 6 o'clock pregame and a 6:10 first pitch. Adam Oppenheim will be with me, but for now, enjoy Leo's postgame show after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Leo Stodder with you here at Oil City Stadium, where the Northwest Indiana Oilmen have defeated the Southland Vikings by a score of 9-5, getting their first win over the Vikes this season, moving their record to 13-10. Southland drops to 11-10-1. The Oilmen getting off to a streak here. They've won 4 in a row. They've won 4 games in 3 nights. This was a group effort for the Oilmen tonight, as they got a pretty solid start from Frank Quinn, who makes his first win of the season. Quinn went 5 innings, allowing just 5 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. That was big for Quinn, getting just 1 walk, striking out 5. He was very much in control of what he was starting tonight, getting aggressive early in counts. That was a good transformation from what we've seen earlier in the season, him keeping the walks down. That resulted in 5 innings and the win for him. Mike Burness went 2/3 of an inning, struggled a little bit with the walks. That's where most of the runs came across for Southland. Then we saw Jack Niekraz knock it down with 2 1/3, 1 hit, 1 run. Actually, all runs on his stat line, kind of cool there. 1 earned run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Those 2 innings from him were pretty big. Then Mike Freitas knocked it down in the 9th inning, kept things where they were, going 1 inning, striking out 2. 2 of the 3 batters he faced. Freitas also picked up the lumber and picked up an RBI single earlier in the ballgame. He was handling designated hitter duties as well. Offensively, the Oilmen were able to get an extra base hit from Kyle Tyler. That was one where it looked like it was going to be a single, and he turned it in a 2, just flashing the speed there. Tyler drove in 2 runs. Ziebig drove in 4. Colin Horniman, Kyle Zarnacki, and Mike Freitas all had a solo RBI as well. Ziebig had 2 sacrifice flies that resulted in runs across. We saw Curcio swipe 3 bags. Kyle Tyler and Sebastian Cabeza also had a stolen base. How about Dom Curcio walking 4 times as well? That's so big. He walked in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 8th inning, scoring on 3 of those 4 times on base. Big day for him in the leadoff spot. He's been picking it up pretty well as of late, too, looking to be a nice piece at the top of the order. You throw in Kyle Tyler, who's seeming to handle the wood bat more and more. The Oilmen are starting to just get a feel for this, where they can have a deep lineup no matter who they're playing on a given night. They have some threats to score, threats to get hits. This was big for them tonight, getting a revenge against the Southland team that shut them out on Monday. They only had 4 hits in that game. This game they had 6, but really benefited from those walks. 11 walks as a team. That's right, the Oilmen go to 11 free passes. That was what really they were able to work there, where they weren't getting maybe the extra base hits they had last night, but were able to get the free passes and got the runs across. They'll look to continue that momentum tomorrow night when they host the Joliet Generals here at Oil City Stadium. Same time, same place, 7:10 right here at the OC. They took 2 from Joliet on Wednesday, so you can expect the Gens to come in here fired up. First time they've been in here in a couple of weeks, so it'll be fun to see what happens there at Bark in the Park night. Until then, that's all I have on the post-game show. This is Leo Stodder thanking you for following along. We once again remind you the final score was Oilmen 9, Vikings 5. You've been following along on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.